And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 269. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, we don't really have a topic tonight because Laps Comic Fan wanted to come on and just talk with the boys, but we will go over... What? I love blaming this guy for everything. But we will be going over the Superman Rotten Tomatoes score, and we're going to see what the critics are saying because Superman has come out. It is the first film of the new DCU cinematic universe. It's the big launch because Creature Commandos Season 1 was the soft launch. Kind of like when I have sex with my wife, I kind of softly go into it. Then I do a
I assume most women make you soft.
Hi-oh! Oh, wow. So... for those of you guys who don't know, I cannot watch the movie opening weekend because Thursday I have to work later than I normally would. So I have to work essentially 11 to 7 for people on the Central and East Coast time, actually, you know? So I'm not going to be able to watch Superman until Monday, and I'm going either 12 my time or 2:30, and we are going to do a Superman open spoiler discussion for the MSK show on Monday. So if you guys obviously want to come and hear our opinions on the movie, then we will be doing that on Monday, and Laps will be on that for that show because he wanted to challenge me and debate me. The big dog, Hashirama Senju, which is me. I'm the god of content creators around here, you know. He Laps is like, I'm gonna go on my Mamoru Chiya arc and just hate everyone. Everyone is bad. Infinite Tsukiyomi, I should be able to control everyone. And I'm like, you know what? Now you kind of see it my way. They always do eventually see it my way.
So, like, I never said any of those words,
but it was implied.
No,
at all.
I wonder if some of those
so much in that.
He
he called himself a god. He says that he's responsible for. Wow, just so much going on in that one little boast.
I mean, I just like that he thinks that I would call myself a Naruto character.
Yeah, you'd be more like
I would equate myself to that.
You'd be more like fucking like Shido than anything. You're like kind of silent
God.
but deadly,
Like
but
Cheetos?
not exactly like you. No, he's the bug character, but. So the reason why I would like you guys to come and watch the MSK show episode we're going to do on Monday for the Superman open spoiler discussion is because I know a lot of people, you know, on the internet have got a chance to see Superman at this point now because it had a lot of, screenings come out early. The review embargo has lifted for a lot of us on the panel. It's going to come out obviously on Thursday because, you know, we're in different cities in the world, so you know we're poor motherfuckers in that kind of regard because Hollywood doesn't give a fuck about us, honestly, those people are absolutely disgustingly cringe. Doesn't matter. So I always say this about movies. I like movie conversation I can have with people where, you know, if I say I don't like it, you say you do like it, let's just have a conversation. We can agree and disagree, and that's all fine. You know, like for me, when it comes to like movie opinions, I don't even care if someone says it's bad or good or whatever. I always just say this: I will at some point watch it myself and I'll just form my own opinion. Even if it's movies I've never seen, I will just say I haven't watched that yet. People will go, well, you haven't watched. I'm not going to give you an opinion on something I haven't watched. That's disingenuous, and I think that's pretty fucking wrong. Like what someone asked.
Yeah.
That's just I can't do that. Like I've not seen The Godfather. People ask me, I haven't seen it, so I can't give you my opinion on it. That's something
I just like how you can't see the movie this weekend, so you explained why you're busy on Thursday. Yeah. As if Friday, Saturday, and Sunday don't exist in this
problem. See,
they just don't exist.
And I think why he said he works till like 9 or something. Of course, no movie is played after 9 p.m.
No. On Thursday for my city, for our movie theater, the last showing is exactly at like I think 7. So I can't make it regardless Thursday at all. Even if I wanted to.
Even my town that is in like the middle of nowhere. The last showing on Thursday is midnight.
Oh, okay, so we have 5:30, 7:30, and 8:30. Yeah, it's not possible.
What comes after 8:30 though?
Nothing. That's all we have. It's 5:30, 7:30, 8:30.
Believe you.
But Friday, me and Lunchbox Warren have our show with 2 other white guys. So it's gonna be 2 light-skinned black guys and then 2 white guys. So it's gonna be a full-blown double stuffed Oreo. Saturday,
I feel sorry for you, Warren.
Wow, just thank you. Glad those compliments roll through.
What I do to try to get noticed.
I know you clout chaser, you.
Not so much for this man's channel.
Yeah.
Saturday we're doing the I mean we might be able to, but I'm pretty sure on Rumble and X we're gonna do a watch party for the final match of MSI 2025 for League of Legends. We're gonna have
are you gonna do that and not get kicked out?
It's gonna be on Rumble and X, not on YouTube. I learned my lesson.
You sure you don't want to try it again? You can stream again.
I'm okay.
Give it a try. Test it out.
Yeah, we're gonna do a watch party for the final match, and then I'm doing a Cloud9 podcast with Chaz Sunday.
So it's just gonna be you and Chaz, basically.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's technically what we do. And then after Sunday, me and Savage Dad are gonna start our show again on YouTube, where we're just gonna be talking about comics or something, probably around 8 o'clock my time. Just depends on when he's ready. He said 8, so that's pretty much it. Also, we do have to add in some extra shows because we're a bit behind because I took a week paid off vacation. More like unpaid vacation. I don't get paid at all for doing this. I just talk to these cloud chasing bastards every day. It's okay. I have the tools to cope with whatever life throws at me. But it's awesome to see Labs Comic Fan on his new dark arc. We're gonna call him Dark Labs.
It's not a dark arc. I'm just tired of. I'm just sick of people. They're just I can't.
MSK will do that to you.
I can't. I just can't deal with. I don't even want to say all the negativity. I don't care about people's opinions, but whenever I'm watching something and I hear and I've saw what they're looking at and they have this opinion that is so out in left field, beyond the bleachers, and you're like, how do you even come to the conclusion of that? A perfect example, I was looking at some stuff and someone said that Superman was a big disappointment. And one of the comments underneath it, right, it said, well, why wouldn't it be? The trailer was so woke. I was like, what?
What is woke about the trailer?
What was in the trailer that was woke?
The part people said was woke, I'm not saying I agree, where she yelled at him in the interview. Remember that interview they were having?
How is that woke?
They had a conversation? I mean,
have they not ever seen Lois Lane?
Have they not been around women? That's what they do.
But Lois Lane,
they fight.
But Lois Lane yells all the time.
Did she yell at him in Smallville? A ton of times she yelled at him in Smallville.
She yells at him a ton of times in the comic books. All the time.
I don't think there's been a Lois Lane that hasn't yelled at him. I just don't think that exists.
I just don't but when someone says it's so woke, and I don't even see one iota of it, at what point are those opinions going to be held as not credible? I like having a diverse conversation where we can get everybody's opinion and we can all riff off of each other. But when it's something that's when it's something that's that's so unbelievably ridiculous, and I'm seeing it everywhere, and I'm just
hey, dog.
There's nothing that makes people happy anymore. There's nothing in this world that and I'm just I don't know how you go through life like that. I can't be like that. If I don't like it, I'll be like, hey, I didn't like it. It wasn't to my taste. But if something I like, I saw Sinners. I forgot to tell you that, Gray. I went and saw Sinners a while ago, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was crazy because at first I'm like, isn't it supposed to be a vampire movie? And all of a sudden it turns it. And as soon as they get into the juke, as soon as it's after that scene, I was like, oh, okay. It was awesome. I thought it was great. And some of the people that talk about that, and I'm just I don't understand where that opinion is coming from. Now you're just saying dumb shit, either to get a rise out of people or you're just a complete moron. It's the only two things that I can think of.
Well, right now, you're 100% right, Labs. But what you're seeing though is that there's an entire ecosystem that was created around bitching about stuff. There was the cancel culture wave, and there was the anti-cancel culture wave, which started going after the woke stuff along those lines. The problem is, though, is if you build your audience off that, you have to keep doing it because that's what's getting you attention. That's their business. So now it gets to the point where they have to find something woke. So then they just start, and if anything starts getting kind of buzz, you're going to have someone come in and then say, well, this is woke because Superman had a soy latte in one scene, and it's just, or some stupid shit like that. So you have this entire like negative business model, especially on YouTube, social medias. That's how people get their clicks, their attention, their pushes. And it's starting to die out because they're starting to run out of things to talk about. You're starting to see a lot of those groups start losing their fan bases and start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I think we're at the end of it.
So I watched the original Superman and the extended edition, and then I watched the Donner cut for the second Superman. What sounds more woke to you? Okay, just throwing it out there. And these are the same people that herald that movie up here with the pantheon of movies that cannot be touched. What sounds more woke? Lois Lane yelling at you in an argument that you're having during an interview, right? Or when Clark walks into the office and she goes, he's like, "Hey, Lois, how you doing? Hey, you know what would be great? You getting me a hamburger." No one says anything about that.
God, that's a long time ago. I
and she did it 3 times in the movie. It was a hamburger, it was pizza, and then it was iced tea.
Well, you're saying that did ruin the entire movie for you, right?
No, of course not. It didn't.
No, because Lois has always been kind of the alpha.
That's what I mean.
Bumbling
But like
Clark,
But we'll call woke on this. But that movie, dude, like, can't be touched. Like, fuck, like, and the hypocrisy of it to me is just ridiculous.
Like before I had my unpaid vacation last week, the week before that, when I was, I think
the week before that,
when I was doing the show with Laps. No, was it Laps? No. He was injured that week. It was when we were doing the show
on the DL.
It was Friday's episode with me and Warren. It was when James Gunn, remember how he dropped that scene of when Clark busted into
when he was
Lex's
trying to
office.
find out where crypto is.
Yeah, and then people said that Superman shouldn't lose his temper, and I'm like, are you telling, even if you've never read Superman comic books, you want to convince me that in every bit of media he's ever existed and he's never lost his temper? Like, I just want to point out
that was literally what the whole Elite story was about.
Yeah, they tried,
that whole arc was about him losing his temper.
I have to tell people this. I try to tell people this.
Monarch.
Your brains don't even have to read comics for some of the dumb things you say. In all the media you've seen in Superman, he's never lost his temper ever. I can point to you like 1,000 episodes in Smallville, which is regarded as a great interpretation of Superman's character, where he's lost his temper plenty of times, i.e. this one. In season 1, episode, I think 15, 13.
Doesn't matter.
Where he found out that his parents forged adoption papers, yelled at them, and then stormed out of the house. Did he not lose his temper then? He loses his temper. He doesn't often lose his temper. It's not something that he often does, but he was raised like us, so he's going to have emotions like us. I just can't possibly fathom a world where people's brains do not think past the surface level of analysis. He's never lost his temper in all the movies and TV shows and animated ones too ever. Are you serious? You must be a fucking retard. Your mom literally probably should have swallowed you before she even gave birth to you. Holy motherfucking people are retarded. Like, I'm sorry.
Do you think, Ray?
I think MSK is a people.
He's a people.
He got a little zesty on that last one, but
allegedly,
you could tell he was passionate about it. Fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pay attention when MSK is talking. But here we are.
And Superman and Lois, season 2.
Yeah,
there's something that the son does, which he was simping for a woman. He was, and Clark yelled at him quite a bit. Toward the end of it, yelled at, and it's his dad. The dad yells at them, the sons in the show. Happens all the time. But I don't sit there and go, well, that's not Superman because he just yelled at someone. Some of you guys are literally the most pussy betafied bitches out there. Someone just yelling must mean that's the character is ruined. Like, that's why I actually enjoyed when Mark Waid wrote that Tower of Babel story, because it shows how the average person, when they think about Batman's, brains are fried. So Batman, a character who dresses up like a bat, fights, who insert Batman villain, Poison Ivy, right? Bane, okay? So Batman taking on Darkseid makes no sense. But Batman dresses up as a bat and beats up a guy wearing clown makeup.
It's not clown makeup.
And he's not just wearing it; he is the clown.
I'm being facetious. Like what I'm saying is, yes.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like, oh god, well, wait, Batman can't take punches from Darkseid. He probably shouldn't take punches from Bane either. But it happens. This is a make-believe world. This doesn't exist.
I think like that's the meta that people like to argue about, like that type of stuff. And I see what you're saying. I get the correlation of what you're saying.
I'm a genius, obviously.
No, nobody said that.
I think the bigger problem for me personally is the hypocrisy of we're going to hold this thing up here over here and not point out the same exact flaws that this new thing over here has, right? They both have the same type of thing, but since this is new and it's come out in this age, it's automatically dog shit. It's automatically because it has 2 seconds of a fucking thing that ruins a 2-hour movie. It blows my mind. Like, it's like, dude, you are programmed. You're worse. It's almost to me that they're worse than the people that you have to like everything. Those people, at least they're trying to find enjoyment in something. These people like can get a 2-hour movie ruined by someone saying one thing. Like, it doesn't negate everything that happens. Now, you might
most
not
of those people,
like
I question if some of those people even plan to watch the movie.
I mean, that's true.
A lot
of if you get one of those Snyder bros who, for some reason, what I would say, why can't it all be good? Like, if you love Snyder, that's great. Mm-hmm. Why can't James Gunn be good too? Like, why are we wishing something is bad to help like justify something
liking something, right?
Liking something else, like just because James Gunn does good does not mean Zack Snyder didn't do good. You know what I mean? It's like
that would be a subjective thing. It's like, just because I didn't like Snyder's movies doesn't mean that I hate the people that like his movies. If you like his movies, that's fine. I'm not gonna say they're good.
I mean, it's a little bit. He's being a little bit different. I know what you're saying, Warren. It's like they are a set fan base to this particular thing. So this thing it can't be good because this makes it work. If that's good, then what I like is obviously inferior. They just both can't exist in the same space as being like, oh, I like that interpretation of this character.
Well, I think a lot of people, when it's something that I was just, I don't know, seeing a long time ago, just with normal, average, everyday life, not even superhero stuff. A lot of dudes, it's actually not women in this case. Usually I would shit on women because they're just terrible. This is actually a dude thing. Guys, soy boy, oh my goodness, have this inferiority complex with movies where, like, if like Snyder fans have it worse. If they had such an inferiority complex, and any criticism of that awful fucking movie Man of Steel, it ruins their entire life. They can't fathom a world that someone else can't like it. It's just, how dare you not like my God, Zack Snyder's precious cum that he dripped from his penis into my mouth? Like, what?
Why is everything with you turned down to like jizz in fucking dudes' mouths?
Hey, you went on your dark
art. You might have been a bit hyperbolic there. Come on.
Don't mention words that he doesn't understand or pronounce right.
Oh God, I'm not gonna take this from clout chasers. But the thing is, that's just for me how I've been able to manage being on the internet for, good Lord, all of my life, essentially at this point now, is if people have a certain opinion. Sometimes on Twitter, if I see someone say they didn't like any movie that I think I enjoy, I just scroll past it. I don't even want to give time to that. That's why I stopped giving time. There was these posts that would happen every day on my feed, and I just have to mute them, where it would be like, what's a worse movie, Catwoman or like Green Lantern? And I'm sitting here and people are actively debating, and I'm like, guys, these are awful fucking movies. There's no honesty.
Yeah, but which one's worse?
What? That's what conversations.
You have an opinion. Are you going Ryan Reynolds or Halle Berry there? That's a tough one for me.
Catwoman's actually worse. At least
so you have an opinion.
Oh, good Lord. So
see, there it is. And Catwoman has one of the best lines in a movie ever. Does. Male academia. Come on now. It solves everything.
I'm not going to debate. I'm not going into a thread on Twitter like that and debating 2 hours with people about what's a more shittier fucking movie. That is a waste of time. Even if you do it, people will do it for like, what's a better Batman movie, Batman Under the Red Hood or like Mask? I'm not debating that. I'm just going to say they're both good because they're both fucking great. They're both fantastic movies.
I mean, I have fun debating. I think it's the problem for me with when the opinion becomes less objective and less subjective. It's just, I can look at you and I know, okay, I know you're never going to say anything, Pot. It's never going to happen. And we'll never hear anything out of your mouth other than the same 4 things that are regurgitated over the internet.
It's much nicer if it's a nuanced opinion. Like the third act in Red Hood fell apart, and I think that's where Phantasm is a better film because of blah blah. It's more of a nuanced, like I actually watched the movie kind of opinion, and so it's one of that's much better than this whole like oh well, the director said this during an interview 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so
I don't understand.
Want to see the movie.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, people give a shit what someone who made the movie says. What does that have to do with the movie? We've seen a bunch of weirdos make movies that ended up being good. Like, how does that have any bearing on what the movie is about? Like, I don't understand.
For me, I like to thrive off of, just for me personally, I like to thrive off more like consistency with people's logic. So if all
right. No, keep going.
All right.
This is great.
So for me, I will never know if someone is saying something truthful, honestly, because
you could have just stopped right there.
People will just, because keep in mind, we don't know if people are paid off. We don't know if people are authentic. If I can perceive you being authentically yourself, I think that's fine, right? I just, because movie opinions are always going to vary in so many different ways. I can't be like, hey, this person didn't like it for any. If that's your reasoning, sure, it just might be a shitty reasoning, but that's your reasoning. But at least maybe you're telling the truth. Now, the thing is, I don't know. Are you only saying that because money's involved, or do you honestly feel that way, or do you want to be that or you don't want to be that person to say, hey, I did like this, but then I take a bunch of backlash for it, and then I switch my opinion up? I don't know. There's so many different angles to tackle it when it comes to movie opinions, because I can't, in my own good conscience, say what someone else is saying is wrong about a movie, because that is your own opinion. But I don't have to like what you're saying either. That's how it goes for me. But everyone's different.
it's the people that say the same thing though for every movie, even if that stuff's not even in there. That's the problem. It's the same like 4 buzzword type. This is woke. This is intersectional feminism. This is I'm fucking tired of that shit. Shut the fuck up.
God, like, I want to be a paid shill so bad.
Like dude.
I wish DC would send me a check. I'd be like, oh, James Gunn can't do no wrong.
Exactly. That would be great. DC, send me some back issues. I need like Batman from like 1980 to 84.
I love everything issues. Marvel puts out. Riri Williams, best character ever created. If Marvel pays me and lets me go to movies early.
And it's like, and it's from both sides. It's not just the hating side either, because I've seen like someone
you were talking about where they say they love everything. That's the worst. They're just as bad.
They're just as bad. Like someone was talking about that they were like, I can't remember how it was worded, but it was like, fuck what you heard or what you said. These 2 are number 1 and number 2 on Disney Plus, and it was like Captain America, Brave New World.
It was. Yeah,
and I said, listen, my comment was like, I don't understand why I have to like characters who I never even liked in the comic books, who had what I thought were subpar movies. I thought Falcon was a great character. I thought everything that Falcon did was cool, but I don't like his Captain America. Maybe for me, I'm not open to that Captain America being that different. Possibly. I mean, I could be wrong about something. I mean, that's happened a zillion times in my life, but it just didn't feel right to me. It just didn't feel like a Captain America movie. And like, I knew, like I said, I think I've said this to you before, like, but I watched that movie with my mom because she really likes Captain America and she likes Falcon. And she was like, can we watch that? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I told her, I was like, you
MSK,
probably won't have,
you watch it with?
I was like, you won't have
my wife.
It's like, you probably won't have the same hangups that I did with the movie, But after she was done, she literally looked at me and said, that did not feel like a Captain America movie.
Yeah. And that's where the other side of the aisle would play in, where they're so hell bent on counteracting quote unquote negativity that they'll say they like. I mean, that's why I always boil it down to being subjective. Like, even if someone, I can't tell if someone's paid off. What if someone genuinely just did like that bad movie that I didn't like? And that's where it all comes into just weird gray nuance territory, because but it does feel like they do say they like it because the other person didn't like it. And it's like, that's just kind of cringe. Like, I don't fuck with that mindset either.
I'm sure there are people that like that stuff. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a ton of people that do. Like me, I didn't have a problem with Thunderbolts. I just didn't like the end of it. I didn't like the whole shoehorning of the new Avengers and how they got rid of Sentry. Like, I didn't care for that. But I was one of the few people that was like, yeah, it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was fun until the end of it.
And that's why you guys should come to our Superman open spoiler discussion on Monday, because I can't wait to annihilate these nerds on my superior movie opinion compared to theirs.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be something. That's definitely gonna be something.
But for me, when it comes to watching movies, if something I didn't like stands out, I'll talk about it. But it's not like it would have to pile up. Like I can let one thing go and then criticize it. But if it's 3, 4, 5 things, it's like, well, that kind of just knocks things down. It's always, but I told people before, that's just me. That's how I view things. Other people, some things don't bother them as much. Some people, like, literally, if you played a song they love during a scene, they'll like the entire movie. Not how I view things, but that's fine. Everyone.
So, Gray, what do you feel like? I'd like to hear your opinion on this whole
Gray
discussion of
this guy.
Yeah, him. I like hearing his opinions. Oh, he left.
Why did I get kicked out of here, MSK? I kind of hear what MSK is saying, but at the same time, every time Village People kicks off in a movie, like, I just see his eyes light up so much. It does feel like he enjoys a movie more. When, oh great, my bird is going off right now. Good times. I do. I don't know if you can hear it screaming, but that's its main trick. But yeah, I guess I hear what you're saying, MSK, but at the same time, at the end of your rant, all of a sudden you came in with, but tune in Monday and you'll hear the right opinion. It's like, come on.
Yeah, no.
Nobody has ever thought that of anything you've ever said.
I'm an egomaniac, and I believe my opinions are more correct than yours because, that's just how I am with you guys because, you're clout chasers. But no, in all honesty, I just try to basically give people the type of movie review or just review content that we all used to enjoy. We used to enjoy just talking and being unfiltered with friends, and I think that's how it should always be. That's how I always want my stuff to be. I can't control what people do. I can't control how people think or watch their own stuff. I mean, it becomes this thing where I think if someone is so involved in something that they start to basically lose themselves.
That's very true. That's very true. Yes.
Like, you're so far down that rabbit hole. People do this with movies a lot. Like, I think there's a reason why movie reviewers change how they think. Like, let's say you watch a movie. It doesn't matter if it's any movie, and you actually enjoyed it. But now, before you came to the internet, before you gave that opinion on Twitter, because most people do, you went, damn, I should probably look at what this other person said because I value their opinion more than mine.
I don't like that.
Is that your move, MSK? Before you post your opinion, you got to check if it was correct.
Well, usually in my own mindset, because I'm always the ultimate genius. But
he's got like a checklist, dude, of like certain people he's got to check first.
Always got to go to Jeremy John. Always.
Wait? What does he think about this movie?
Yeah. Now,
usually, my opinion must reflect his. Yeah. What is my opinion on this movie?
Yeah, it's crazy because maybe people are just afraid of being that guy that they were like, I'm gonna be in the minority if you like that movie. If you're in the minority where you like a movie, that's fine. I mean, but keep in mind, all this stuff is very much, talked about in various different ways. I like to be a little bit more analytical when I'm watching something. Just depends on what it is. Like, I knew when I was watching Jurassic World Rebirth that there was.
I think you said anal wrong.
I think it's true that I'm good looking, hot and rich and white. But it was like when I was watching Jurassic World Rebirth. It was I think yesterday it was Monday when I watched it, or was it Tuesday? No, it was Monday when I watched it. Where I knew watching it, I was like, wow, there's nothing here to offer me as far as these characters. Now, if someone thought the characters were good.
What about the product placement, though?
I mean, if someone thought the characters in that movie were good, sure. I didn't think they were good. But hey, if you did, let's have a conversation about why you thought they were good. That's what I care about. I care about hearing what someone like that I potentially didn't see in something, because sometimes when you're watching a movie you can't pay attention to everything. It's just how it happens sometimes. But all right, who's in the T Jazz? I haven't seen T or her in forever.
I personally,
what did I say?
I watched the Christopher Reeves Superman this past week, 1 and 2, and I hope the new one is nothing like that. I still like those movies, but dude.
Eric, what's up, buddy? Emilio says, I'm going to go see over the weekend. Awesome. That's he's a mega cloud chaser. Don't trust that guy's movie opinions. He's a white person.
I'd say don't trust anybody's movie opinion. Go see it for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I even said it on Twitter. Basically, what I said on Twitter, guys, apply that to anything. Any movie, TV show, anime, comic book, video game, whatever it is. The only opinion that matters is your own. Now, if you have a fragile opinion where, you get kind of angry, people don't like the thing you like, then that's where you start losing me. But, different strokes for different folks. I haven't seen it either, but people I know have, and they all have said positive things. Yeah, every single one of them said it isn't Christopher Reeve Superman, but they got the essence of the character. That's good. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. I think Gunn can bring the heart to it. So I really hope he does.
I even said it in my trailer reaction. I was like, I don't think.
Wait, you mean the woke trailer that they showed?
Yeah, mega woke
trailer.
The mega intersectional feminist woke DEI propaganda. Yeah. I know I said on Twitter, hey, I don't think these trailers look that bad. I thought the movie looked completely fine, and people were like, you're just a James Gunn cocksucker. I'm like, that's not what I do. I just thought it looked good. It looked completely fine. Like, if something did look bad to me, I would just say it looks bad. I tell people this is how I function. These guys are different. They're all clout chasing bastards, and they're obviously inferior to me because I'm white, rich, and good looking. But this is
all
me.
Of those are untrue. Warren is so far above you. Those draw streams are awesome, man. And he's lapsed. Come on. He is doing us all a favor by just barely showing up here.
And he has a
taking the show upon his shoulders and carrying.
Wow! Oh my god! Like Torigaro from Yu Hakusho when he was carrying the turret. Like, if I genuinely looked at something and I didn't think it was good, I would just tell you guys I don't think it looks good. There's no like, man, I don't know what these guys are gonna say about my opinion. I'm just gonna tell you to you. If I thought it looked good, I'll just tell you it looked good. Or if I thought it looked kind of meh, I'll be like, hey, I don't know about this. This doesn't really kind of vibe with me. Like, I wasn't really vibing with those Fantastic Four trailers. But who knows? The movie might prove me wrong. Thought the trailers were like okay.
Yeah, I always go into a movie hoping that I will enjoy it. Yeah. I always do. I always want to. I don't. I think there's a lot of people that don't.
I believe
that make a lot of content because that's like that's a big thing. Making
I do. I feel the content. Same though. I want all my movie experiences to be good. I don't give a shit what it's about.
Yeah,
just be a good movie that I enjoy.
Exactly. Because like if I like for Fantastic Four, like I said, it's not going to be in my town, so I'm going to have to go to Pittsburgh. I really don't want to drive all the way out there and then be disappointed. You know what I mean? Like I would hope that it's awesome.
Yeah, and I told people this too. I do honestly think that a good amount of people do hope that their movie experience is good. Because like if you didn't think that it was going to be good, you wouldn't pay for it. Like keep in mind, we know that people have not had great movie experiences because numbers have been not good for a while. So people don't value going to the theater because obviously the movie experiences have not been good. So I hope
that you wouldn't download a car, would you?
But that's the other thing, MSK. So it's not like where it used to be like in the 90s where a movie would be in the theater and you wouldn't get it on video for like 6-8 months, sometimes even a year. And then when you did, if you didn't buy it right out, you'd have to go rent it at a video store, and sometimes they were all out, so you might not even get it for another couple of weeks. So people were more willing to go to the theater to see that movie as opposed to this shit was in the movie for like 2 months and then next week it's on streaming or it's on digital download and you could just do it at your house.
What you're saying is basically back then they made you work for.
Well, no, there was more. It's not even that you had to work for it. It's more that you would more likely go see it in the theater instead of waiting a year. As opposed to the 2 months that you have to wait now.
It used to be if a movie came out in the summer you would be lucky to get the VHS or the Blu-ray by Christmas.
By Christmas, right?
By Christmas, you'd be lucky to get it by Christmas. That's what the big push was. Now it's like 45 days in some cases. Some movies not though. Like if I noticed Thunderbolts was not like that. So I think if it's successful, they won't put it in as quickly if it's making money. But some films are like 45 days, but I know some don't seem to be. So
yeah, exactly, Eric. Your
it's for me, it's like, back then we had all those options. Also, I would like to, and there's another added option we had people that would burn movies on CDs. That was a thing for a bit there, but like there with all these extra added options, we were poor. We were poor.
It wasn't even about being poor, dude. It was just like, dude, whenever I saw something that was like back in the day that was like 799 megabytes or 699, I was like, perfect.
Was it LimeWire?
Data CD.
When you torrent LimeWire, you get those
LimeWire,
Mega Video back in the day. That was a big one. Good lord. So
something
Pirate Bay.
There's uTorrent is still a thing. It's still
uTorrent's a client. It's not a site. That's what you use to down. It's not. It's a client, so you can download torrents. I have torrented fucking zillion gigabytes of things.
No. Do you remember when you would accidentally torrent a movie and it was just full blown porn?
What do you mean accidentally torrent a movie? You actually have to download the torrent, start the torrent, seed the torrent. Like there's no accidentally downloading a fucking torrent. You have to download the torrent client.
He tripped, fell on his computer, and it just went there. Maybe it's through a pop-up. Who knows?
You torrent porn.
The 100 gigabytes of porn on my computer was an accident. I was trying to get
to be fair, technically, I just had someone do it for me. I didn't really understand how to do it. I knew what it was. I just had someone just do it for me.
Is that why it's all man on man porn?
It's funny because one of my old friends, he was really into like building computers and stuff like that. And I would always on the weekend, I'd stay over at his house. We'd get all drunk. And I remember I was on his computer once and I was like, wonder if he has, because he had so many hard drives. I was like, I wonder if he has any hidden folders. So I clicked drag. And I saw one and I opened it and it was just nothing but porn. And I took a big screenshot and I made it his background. So when he came, and the movie was called Dr. Shameless.
But he had shame.
He sure did. Lord. It was in his little secret folder. There was fucking 9,000 folders in there. Like, goddamn, dude. That's a lot of dicks.
The other thing we didn't bring up when it actually comes to movies, which is different styles that work for people. Kind of like with video games and comic books and anime and all that stuff. There are certain styles that may just not vibe with you. Like I like James Gunn's movie style. I think it's pretty cool. But some people don't. But that's totally fine if you don't. It's not going to end the world that you don't like someone's style. Like some people, literally today, someone told me Quentin Tarantino was a bad filmmaker because he was a pretentious douchebag. And I was like, I don't care if Quentin Tarantino is a pretentious douchebag. I'm never meeting that guy. I don't give two shits what his personality is.
You could be a good filmmaker and still be a pretentious douchebag.
Yeah,
I can see the argument for the latter, but I don't know. It's hard to say that his filmmaking is bad, but man, is he pretentious and douchey when he says okay, if I'm going to put a car chase in my movie, it's going to be the greatest car chase ever filmed. Okay.
But I like when he says those things. As he's putting his cock.
It's what I want out of a director. I want him to be full of himself and have a vision.
Yeah.
But kind of douchey. Probably not great to be in a conversation with. It's probably like MSK. Out of nowhere, he's going to tell you just how great he is.
Oh my god!
Talking about dicks for some reason.
I'm correlating my.
What is your?
Except for him, it's probably feet.
So, what is your apple pie recipe? Dicks.
I don't like that.
You gotta get dicks first.
I think pumpkin
pie. The number one thing in apple pie.
Pumpkin pie is better.
Sex with so many women.
Yeah, I've had.
First of all, that's true. That is literally true. God, good lord, you guys are
sex
insane.
With many of them. Many women.
I found it. I've had so much sex that you guys will never.
So
ever
much
think of.
women genitalia.
I cannot think of a movie with many lucky ladies.
I hate all of you. You guys need to die. You guys literally need to fucking die. Wow.
Hey.
Cry about it, bitch. That's what you do.
Wow. Oh, baby, I will.
What is
good?
Why do you sound like a black guy from a freaking Baptist
Why is he gonna be black though?
Yeah,
he's just a Southern gentleman. Come on, MSK.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Yes, I do. I know that. I do a very good Eric July. That's why I do it.
No. You sound like that. You sound like the fucking black pastors in the black church. Oh, brother, Lord, Reverend, we're gonna
hallelujah, brother MSK. Come up to the podium. Absolve your sins.
So we're gonna go over
Jesus.
the God Isn't Real, the Space Genie. But I'm joking, guys.
Speeny. Wow, dude, you broke out Speeny.
I'm joking, guys. But no, we're gonna go over the Superman Rotten Tomato score in just a moment here. But they wanted to see my Quentin Tarantino thread. So basically, Razor Fist said, okay, so there was a thread talking about the Hateful Eight. This is a thread about enjoying it because
come on, it's Razor Fist, dude. It's a guy who spins in his chair and says, "Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you."
No, there are these
lives with like magical fucking clowns around his head. dude's half retarded and fucking wears sunglasses in the dark.
Tell me how you really feel. Holy shit.
Jesus.
So there are these threads on Twitter that are celebrating movies like the great shots, the great scenes, the great scores, and everything. And Razor Fist had said a very bad film made by a very bad filmmaker whose totally
please read this.
Whose totality of charm rests in how profligately it cribs its look at and soundtrack from films that, unlike itself, do not suck. This is what I don't like about Razor Fist. He talks in.
Can you say that one more time?
This is why I don't like Razor Fist. He talks in such big words that he doesn't even understand. He just says, the government indulged in my butthole and I actually just ran outside naked and then I slit
That's not
my
what he's
throat.
saying, though. He's actually saying something, but what he's saying is not correct. So, I mean,
but
it's just his
MSK, can you try and say it again? Sorry, not your sentence, the word. His charm rests in what? What is Razor Fist accusing him of?
I just don't get this. He always like, I'm going to say something intelligently smart, and it's not smart. It's literally it's the most surface level milquetoast IQ thing ever. But he puts big words. It's like those people that talk with big words like, I'm using my onomatopoeia to go inside this door. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You sound like a fucking indulgent prick. So, Epic Mike had, no, a second here. I gotta bring this up. Gotta make this bigger. He had said, one of the best directors of all time, calling Tarantino a bad filmmaker, let alone a very bad filmmaker, calls into questions any assessment of cinema you have. I think that's a pretty fair assessment, in my opinion. You know? I think here, and this is what I had said. Because he said, this guy says, oh, fuck off, Mike. Tarantino is a shitty human being and one of the most overrated filmmakers ever. Are you going to spaz out every time Razor has an opinion you disagree with? It's like, and I think I said right here, he says that he's a bad filmmaker, a very pretentious and self-indulgent one. I said, who cares? If he's pretentious or self-indulgent, that does not mean he's a bad filmmaker, you clown.
Oh, God damn it. I agree with something MSK has said.
He said his movies suck. That's what makes him a bad filmmaker. Provides no examples.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, he's saying Glorious Bastards sucks.
Have you seen Django? That's a great movie.
Django. Yeah, I mean,
a fucking awesome movie. That's an opinion of yours, and that's
in his defense, the movie that he was taking the stills from is Hateful Eight, which it's kind of slow compared to some of his other ones. It's not my favorite. I like what it's doing, but all the aforementioned ones have a lot more going on, more action.
I do agree with you on that, but I look at it the same way. Like, people love The Irishman, you know what I mean? But I look at it as one of Scorsese's like slowest.
Oh,
yeah. But they still love, you know what I mean? They still love it though. Like, for
I love a slow burn sometimes.
It's profligately.
I'm not very good with words. So, James Gunn's Superman movie Rotten Tomato critic score, both critics and audience score, is in.
Good audience score.
Certified fresh, like when I was having sex with my wife.
Right.
84%.
Nobody thinks that was fresh.
It did debut at 91. It was about to match Suicide Squad.
No, it was at 94 at one time. When
Really?
when I originally saw the thing, it was at 94. I even said it last night on our show.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. So that would actually be just as almost high. That would be higher than the Suicide Squad movie he did.
Because remember, I asked you if it was still at 94, and then you went and checked it, and we were talking about like it would go down to
100% verified ratings. Whatever. Also, I can actually comment under this because
that's 1,000 plus verified ratings, not 100%.
Good Lord. I hate you so much. You guys are all bad.
What the words say and the numbers say. That's not me.
Oh my God. So I can actually be a Rotten Tomatoes verified audience member to critique movies because I have an account here. But we'll go over the audience score. So, okay, a lot of 5 stars here. A lot of 5 stars. We can go over some of these. I probably may make it smaller or bigger. I think that is that better for the screen?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I just wanted to see what it was. I'd like, if you want to go over what people are saying, that's cool. Like, but
I mean, I don't care what people say.
The thing that I'm happy about is, Warren, you're definitely correct, at least on this, for this section of the reviews. At least it's not filled with the same, because like if 96% of the 1,000 at least were positive about it, right?
That's pretty good.
I'm not saying they loved it or anything like that, but then you're gonna get like one that is like 1 star, and then it's gonna say something ridiculous, right? Those are some that I can't take seriously, and then there's the other ones that are just a couple words like Superman is amazing or this is the best.
Yeah, I like when it's a little bit more of a
when they say more, So
I don't agree with Walter said, Laps, you're an asshole with your comprehension and knowledge of big history.
I'm sorry, Walter.
True. Small words.
I'm sorry.
Single syllables.
Okay.
Is his preference.
So we'll go over just a few of them, not a lot, because I'm obviously watching this on Monday. But keep in mind, I just want to point to people this, because I know it's going to get asked a million times. I just want to hear, I do not care what any people's opinions are. We're only going over them just to gauge what the average consensus is. That's all. I'm like, I could care if someone said this movie was an absolute piece of shit. I wouldn't care what you said unless I watched it myself and judge it for myself. That's how it works. These opinions do not influence mine in any shape, form, or way. But with Gray and Lunchbox Warren, I can't trust them. They're obviously paid off by me to shill for me. So, all right, Jose.
You couldn't afford Warren.
Was it Josie Melendez?
Melendez, dude.
Yes, Melendez.
Yeah, Melendez.
No, you were correct.
Right.
You're
Good
right.
Lord. I hate all of you. If the new age of DC is one that makes fun of women's intelligence, I don't want it.
Like that. Like that's like what? What?
Like explain yourself.
Like say where that came from. Like what did they do? What did they do to undermine women's intelligence?
Josie, women do that enough by themselves. You don't have to. The movie doesn't have to show you that. You can just live real life for that. She set me up for that one. Kyle.
Hey, Walter has a request for you, really quick. Could you just read out Walter's chat?
So Walter wants me to give you guys a raise, and I'm not doing that because you guys are clout chasing.
Oh, you're just read it.
God Lord.
Just say Consinus.
Consinus.
Oh, yeah. I don't get paid enough to be doing this. All right. Superman is a good movie and a great start to the DCU that addresses so many timely real-world issues. Legitimately, what else could you want? Linda and Al Lerner. Gunn's vision references current issues jam-packed with too many characters and battle scenes, but Corn Sweat infuses humanity and optimism, filling the Superman suit well, and after seeing the breakout star, you may come across a lot of dogs named Crypto. Awesome. Brian Ebert?
What do you have against dogs named Crypto, MSK?
Everything. Cats are better. Just as with Gunn's earlier work in the MCU and DCEU, his mark is unmistakable in Superman. It's a delight to watch how he subverts mainstream sensibilities in a decidedly commercial format, offering a studio product with distinct fingerprint. Brittany Murphy. Ultimately, I thought Superman was a mixed bag that had glimmers of goodness, but settled for just okay. I genuinely wish I enjoyed it more. Simon Foster says the DC relaunch needed to forge its own path, not play like the last few MCU hits. Warner Brothers wants you to believe it's a bold new vision, but Gunn's marketable eccentricity is as safe as a bet as they could have made.
So like that, okay, so like that one, the last one, we talked about this
Superman
last night.
wasn't
MSK
edgy enough.
Exactly. We talked about this last night. Now there's people like, remember we were talking about the homage movies and the double-edged sword of like someone making something that is too much like what came before, or the other side could possibly be a great movie, or what's happening most likely today is a garbage movie, right? So which would you rather have at this point in time? Something that is familiar but yet is its own thing, or something that is someone's vision who what we've seen lately, except for name a few movies, and we're talking about superhero movies now, so it's not like there's like this great pool of people that are lining up to make these things. You know, I'm sure they would, but like, you know, Marvel and DC get a lot of the same people.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So like, you know, it's either they're going to go out on this giant limb and people are going to hate it for that, or it's going to be too much of the same, which people are going to hate it for that.
Right.
So like you're already on something that it's where you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't type of thing. Right.
Yeah.
Well, what can you seriously do with Superman that shouldn't be familiar? It should be familiar. It should be Superman.
Right.
I also thought this might end up being a problem with Gunn, because when Suicide Squad came out, I made a comment on Twitter that Suicide Squad is the best MCU film made like in Phase 5. And the reason why I said that is because Gunn has a very MCU film style. That was the style of the MCU, lighthearted, more heart, comedic. His style is that way. So you're going to get Superman told through the lens of a guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, and even Peacemaker had moments of heart in it too.
It totally did. Yes.
Yeah. So James Gunn's Superman is going to be very MCU feeling, because he just does. That's his style. You know, plus he wanted to make a lighthearted, hopeful Superman. So instantly you're going to have more jokes, more comedy, lots of good action, and then some heart thrown in there. That's essentially what Guardians Galaxy, the MCU's playbook was.
And that's what a lot of people said what they wanted after what Zack Snyder did. They're like, man, this is too dark and depressing. I'd like something more lighthearted.
Yeah, and if you look at like what he's going to be doing, I mean, he's doing Batman Brave and the Bold. You know what I mean? Like, if he's going off the comics, that's the 70s comics. Like, that's literally like
he said that was going to be Grant Morrison's run.
Well, then that's very dark. Then he shouldn't call it the Brave and the Bold, because that is not what that was at all. I literally have them all here, the Brave and the Bold, and it starts in 1971, and it's a lot of like Jim Starlin. But the best part about the Brave and the Bold, right, is like every week he would like team up with someone new, right, every issue. But when you get like into the mid 70s when you're reading, and it's like Batman's got to help this rec center from getting destroyed, and the evil landlord's taking it down, and he's talking to all his hep cats, and he uses like jive lingo. It's so funny. That's the Batman movie we need.
This one from Dan Scully says, perhaps the best compliment I can give this film is this: it made me want to be a better man, because that's what Superman would do. That's what Superman.
I agree, Walter.
This is what Superman as a character, just with this review, it's probably the one that has the best idea of what the movie probably is. Superman making you feel more inspired based on what he would do. Yeah, that's like crazy thought, guys. That's
literally
Superman.
That's Superman.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good Lord. It's a dull Superman reboot, frequenting overcrowded places and crashing before flying, with its predictable plot and illegal aliens and fake news. Full review in Spanish. I already dated your women. You guys rapping. You guys rap when you talk.
Enough with the reviews. Enough people. I've had enough.
Enough people. Yellow Flash, who saw the movie, said, man, some people are mad at me over Superman. Look, I'm not going to lie about it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't even have to watch it. I'm just going to be honest with how I feel. Yeah, because he did end up enjoying it. He said it was actually pretty good.
That's what I've been hearing from a lot of people on my Twitter. I get a lot of people saying they had fun. You know, it has flaws, but they enjoyed themselves. I've been hearing that quite a bit. So
even the quartering said
that's the Grant Morrison Superman right there. That's from Action Comics.
Even a quartering said this today, which was weird for him to say this, which is this is why I review pop culture less and less. The incentive is to literally hate everything. From what I heard from people I trust, the movie ended up not being woke, a little messy, but overall fine. Okay.
Which is like, and here's the thing, which is fine in my opinion. Like, as soon as we saw other characters besides Superman, we knew that it's going to run the possibility of being a little bit
overcrowded.
Messy.
Yeah, but you could tell that from the trailers. People always said that,
right?
You know, it was going to be a possibility.
So, but as long as Superman is Superman in it, you can start moving from there. Like, everybody who's like, I think this movie needs to do well, right? I don't know if it has to be the $1 billion thing that everybody keeps saying it has to be, but it needs to do well for sure. Because there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to willing to go out on a limb for more superhero movies, if that's, you know, especially with what Marvel's about to do, and because they're getting into some like really heady stuff coming up, you know.
Eric says,
like, just
everyone is looking for wokeness, like it is trying to break it to their house.
He's not lying. He's telling the truth.
I think Marvel's heading towards a $1 billion disaster in 2 years myself, but they don't even have the end of the Avengers Doom movie figured out yet.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that in just a moment.
Yeah, so, it's looks so bad for Marvel right now. But Flash,
this was his
dude,
initial...
all of Disney. They've been having a hell of a year. I think they're already in $1 billion loss, but close anyway.
Flash, this was Flash's review when he saw Superman. He said Superman was great, nothing woke, and the immigrant thing is bullshit. It's a fun comic book movie, and unapologetically so.
Oh, yeah. So now that I don't work for that company anymore, I could tell you finally, MSK. Remember whenever I was looking into Disney's tax holdings? Yeah, so they
fudging the numbers, like I said.
They weren't fudging numbers. They were just massively in what we would call red debt, right? Which is not necessarily you're in the red, but you're spending more in losses than you are bringing in.
So they're breaking even?
No, it would be considered losing money.
Okay.
But they still have so much money coming in from other things, from other stuff.
It's just everything parks, right?
But it's a bunch of other stuff. They have holdings in like ESPN, ABC,
right.
You know, all those other things. But the movies and all of those things, their reportings were losses. They were gainful losses, massive losses on certain movies. So like people telling us like that movie doesn't need to make 600 million to cut that. Yes, it did. It needed to make like 650 million, or it needed to make
even
this.
With Superman. Like I know James Gunn said it doesn't have to make that much money, but that's from his point of view. He's not the one fronting the cost for the movie. The studio's running the cost. This is what I said about. This is what I would say. You guys know this. A movie making a lot of money is different from the quality of film itself. But 100%. The studio's not going to look at it like that. Look at it from just a business point of view. If I fork over $50 million, I probably want like $400 million back if I'm going to put in like $100 million of marketing to it. That's just from a business point of view. Now, us as audience, people say, why should you care about that? You should care because if it doesn't make money, they're not going to make more of it. That's why you should care. If you liked that, they're not going to make more of it unless it makes money. And given nowadays that movies are making less and less money, they might not make more of your favorite movie unless it makes money. I understand making money doesn't equal quality film. I know that, but that's not how they're going to see it. You have to see it from a business point of view. You know?
Yes, it is a business overall. Yes, 100%. There are some places that go to put out quality movies, but that's usually like Oscar bait and stuff like that. They know that's what it's going for, you know?
Yeah, like A24.
Right. We got like 20 Robin Williams movies over the years that he would make. One weird one where it's like, oh, I see what I see what they're doing. They're trying to get him that Oscar, you know, or what. But this genre is not that. This genre is the blockbuster. It has to be a blockbuster.
Yeah. So when James Gunn is saying certain things like, oh, my Superman movie doesn't have to make $700 million. Yes, it does. if I'm forking over your money, your movie better make me money. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I just don't agree with that. That makes no sense. If we're giving you this much money, like we're investing in you to make us more money. That's what they would do. But I understand that there's going to be times where movies break even, and maybe a studio goes, okay, this broke even, but if we put out another one, it'll make more. Now, if it makes less, then that's probably when we pull out. It's a bunch of different ways you could look at it.
Well,
let's be generous as possible. Let's say the movie costs $200 million. And let's say instead of spending $100 million, they only spent $50 million because they were very active on social medias, stuff along those lines. So we're being super generous. So that means $250 million, they have to make 500 in order to be considered breaking even. That could be what he's talking about, but it's still disingenuous though, because if it doesn't make close to $1 billion, we're really talking about DC being closed. Like we're talking about Warner Brothers selling properties,
They did split their company. That did happen. Yeah.
It's getting to that point where this is like the last chance for these movies.
Well, they had Minecraft and Sinners. So I mean, like they've had 2 practically billion-dollar movies this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's that division, though. I think it's that division is actually separate for Warner.
That's different because DC Studios is a separate division from that because they invested money to making it separate DC Studios, right? And I don't know how this goes in business. Maybe Laps can help me out with this. When you're investing something like that, so let's say I have a company.
Hold on, let him finish his what he. What were you? Sorry, Gray. What were you saying? You were making.
I was just saying. So I think they've got some money, even if this isn't the hit that they're counting on. I think they've got a little bit to back this to make sure this franchise goes off. But sorry, MSK can be wrong. What were you saying, MSK?
I'm usually wrong.
You were talking about investing into something.
If I'm Warner Brothers and I invested money into James Gunn and Peter Safran and the Superman movie and to make DC Studios, what do you think is a logical expectation of time for that to turn a profit for you? You're putting in all this money. What do you think for a business that big is an expectation?
Well, okay, so
money.
So it honestly, I know this is not going to be the answer that people want to hear, but it honestly depends. It honestly depends on what the stipulations are in his contract. Usually, a lot of contracts state that certain things have to do this for you to succeed. So to keep going, but I think 3 movies. If they are not successful in 3 movies, they're done.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You think it's like I give you 3 films. If you can't make it work,
well, I just think the money wise, like now, if Superman completely flops, right? If it just completely flops, Snow White-esque flop, then I don't even know if they'll let him do they'll probably rap on everything that they're doing.
White randomly. Flop Snow White style. What the fuck?
Like if it does that, if it flops terribly, then yeah, I could see them doing that, and they could say he was in breach of contract. Yeah. Like, because even if say they want a break-even return, but by the 3rd quarter movie they have to make money. Right. It has to be making money. You could be in breach of contract if it does flop. Not saying that it was his fault that it did, but I mean, I know they spent a lot of money on advertisement. I can tell you, dude, there are bus stations in my city that are literally littered with Superman bus stops.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere.
I don't know the number yet, but I can easily tell this is a big block. They spend at least $100 million in marketing, at least.
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
Yeah. Or at least 150.
I think they spent the budget. They probably spent the budget. They probably went 400.
It's I mean, I know when something is a lot of money spent on, because like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere, guys. Like in the middle of fucking nowhere. When that shit is in my city, that means they're spending money, because how the fuck did it get here? We're like the people like in the freaking Sally Struthers Feed the World commercials that like people end up with a 1991 Michael Jordan shirt and it's the year 2000. Like, how the hell did you get that? Like, that's what my city is like. Okay,
it's just like some of it. I mean, keep in mind, this is just an AI overview of the information gathered, so it could be wrong. Just pointing it out there. So I typed in Superman movie budgeting, but
that's what I thought. 200 million.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I just typed in Superman movie budget and marketing. So the Superman movie has a reported, so it could be higher or lower, production budget of $225 million after incentives and tax breaks, with
an additional
$200 million allocated for marketing. That brings the total estimated cost to over $400 million. While some reports initially suggested a higher budget, including one citing a $363 million figure, James Gunn has publicly disputed these claims. The marketing campaign is extensive, aiming to generate significant buzz and box office success for the rebooted universe. So it could be lower or higher, just
I think 200 million on the budget. That sounded right to me. Like that's
sense.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Those first two numbers make sense. Like that's what was in my head. Not saying I'm right or anything like that. You could just tell like the advertising on other movies compared to this. Like, yeah, when the first little teaser trailer dropped, there was nothing. But in the last like month and a half, I see it it's everywhere, man. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah,
so I mean, like,
I think that's correct. I think 400 million is probably around
that makes about
yeah, and I think it's probably the projections I'm seeing are a 200 plus weekend, and there's a possible I think they're talking like 600 million plus, but that's hard to project this early and see how that first weekend does. I think it's going to do over 200 million because all I hear is a lot of positive buzz. So I think it's
I have heard more positive buzz too. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a good word of mouth.
Look at the chat.
He's a Putin lover.
He says Russia are better than your country. Stars, settle down, 2-pack, get a 6-pack, and shut up.
Didn't you have sex with Diddy? Wait a minute,
relax.
The Diddy freak-offs are over. He's in jail now. You can rest in peace.
Guy. You can have fun. Just make fun of everybody and you'll be all right.
Good Lord. Okay, so Walter had a question. I think this was when Warren made this comment. He said, what does last chance mean exactly when we're talking about MCU? People talk about that with DC and Marvel, but that's...
I don't think we're saying that bad about
Marvel.
No,
okay. What I'm talking about with last chance is like, okay, let's say Doomsday. What we heard about Doom is correct, and it's the budget is now over $1 billion. So that means if they have to make $2 billion to be considered a success because you're doubling the budget cost. Now, let's say that's true. Now, none of it. Right now there's no setup, and let's say it bombs, it doesn't even clear $1 billion. What I mean by last chance is you get to a very strong reality where Disney's like, okay, this MCU thing's not working out for us and we're spending billions of dollars on it. Apple will pay us $2 billion for the MCU for Marvel Studios. And then they sell Marvel Studios. Or you get a gutting where Kevin Feige steps down and we do a reboot and a whole, like, what I meant by last chance is this is the last chance you might see it like this. If Gunn fails in 3 movies and then all of a sudden the studio starts getting involved and then James Gunn steps down and it turns into a Zack Snyder situation,
oh no,
what happens?
Not that again.
You get a complete reboot, cleaning house,
and that can't survive another
new
one.
Studio. So Marvel is getting very close to a clean house gutting or selling IP. It's getting, what I mean by close is like the next 5 years if Avengers Doom turns out to be a massive disaster, which it's starting to look like it's going to be. So if that's a big disaster and Disney's like, we don't want to spend $1 billion making another movie that doesn't clear $1 billion.
And that's what they're going to look like too, because they got to do Secret Wars, and that's going to have how many people in it?
And if Secret Wars turns out like, what happens if with Secret Wars, do they even do it? They've already canceled like 10 movies trying to fix the shithole that they're in right now. So it's like they're just a plane going down, and we're watching it crash.
Or even James Gunn. Remember when he first took over and he announced this plan he had? He's even taken off things that he knows people won't pay money for. There's a thing that people need to understand. Doesn't matter what someone announces. Audiences will always say, "Oh, yeah." Grace Randolph said this best when it comes to superhero fans. I don't really agree with her with anything because she's a fucking woman and she's dumb. But she did say this to people
where stupid.
Where she said basically people will tell the directors and producers on Twitter that they like their stuff and that they'll go see it in theaters, but then they won't be there, right? And that's true because they're looking at the landscape of how movies are. Like, they canceled that Sergeant Rock movie that we're going to do. Not canceled, it's on hold. The Amanda Waller TV show on hold, the Authority movie on hold, because they're trying to see, okay, let's not like invest in all these movies like the previous regime did with Zack Snyder and Jeff Johns. Remember Jeff Johns and Zack Snyder they announced all those movies like Flashpoint, Justice League Part 1, 3, and all that stuff. They're like, okay, let's take it slow. Let's just add in one thing at a time. That's what you should do. You should analyze the marketplace and how it is right now, because the marketplace for movies is not the same it was as lucrative as it was back then. It just isn't, you know?
I mean, it is at that point though, Walter. It really is, like, because they literally are spending $1 billion on this movie. The amount of actors they're paying, just with, it's literally ridiculous. And they've lost so much money. Trust me, I know people might not believe me, but I looked at it. I literally
we got an insider.
I literally looked at what they were claiming in taxes.
But anyone could see it though,
and
even though
what they were trying to say, what their losses were to what they were producing to their fiscal shareholders. Like, I saw it. Like, they are hemorrhaging money right now.
All of us could have seen that. How did anyone not see that? You didn't even have to work for that, not work for them. You didn't have to work in something like that to see that. We could see it with our own eyes. Remember, what was that movie that came out back in 2023, Strange World, where it had Jake Gyllenhaal? Where it cost like $300 million to make for an animated movie and only made like $80 million, complete just bomb. Like, we've seen plenty of their movies bomb. I would just have to see it from just a general butt fuck nobody perspective. I would imagine if you made 5 animated movies and all of them completely bombed, you'd be losing money. Unless you got, because there's no way you got that much tax incentives back to make up that money. There's no way, but that's just me. I could be wrong because I'm hot, rich, and good looking, like Gray said. Right, Gray?
Nobody has ever said that.
So Warren wanted to talk about the Avengers Doomsday budget. Yeah, the rumored budget.
The rumored budget, we went over that before, but then I was reading an article recently, and it was talking about how they haven't even written the third act yet.
That came out today,
Yeah, and it was like, well, I mean, come on, guys. It's because the problem is faith and momentum, and Marvel has neither right now. So it's a huge gamble to be making a movie that's going to have to make $2 billion to be considered a base level success. When
insane.
Only I think one Marvel movie has made $2 billion, and that was Endgame. Now they are bringing the old band back together with the Russo brothers. RDJ's coming back, but here's the difference. Like, there's a big difference between like what they did with Deadpool. With Deadpool, it's like, hey, we're bringing Hugh Jackman in, and everyone really wanted to see Wolverine and Deadpool together. Right now, it's like, hey, we're bringing RDJ back, but he's going to be Doom, which kind of came off like real medium. People are kind of, it's up and down on that opinion of him playing Doom. And then every film before that, like Thunderbolts, didn't really set up anything. How much can Fantastic Four set up to actually get us ready, and then wait 2 years for the film to come out? And I don't know. To me, I don't see this going well. I see Kevin Feige losing his job in 2027 when this film bombs.
No way they have the balls to fire him. No way.
Oh, I think he'll walk away.
Oh, shit. This is probably what you were talking about today, because this came out from Screen Time via Daniel RPK, the insider scooper guy.
Now, this could all be bullshit, too, because this is just insider stuff.
This guy's been wrong about a fair bit of things. Let's just say that.
Yeah, so this could be wrong, too.
Marvel reportedly, like my sex life, still hasn't figured out the third act of Avengers Doomsday. I can believe that.
So hold on. Let me address that. Walter, I know what you're saying. That the MCU overall has grossed this much money. You're saying that that's a very big misnomer, because just because the movie's grossed that much and 31 billion over that many years, that is not how much money that they've made. You got to remember the amount of tax that is paid into being able to, one, license movies, make the movies, all of those things play into a lot of that stuff. It's easy to just look at this movie made this much, this movie, and add that all together and be like, wow, that's a shit ton of money that this company has made. But that is not how that, if that was how things worked, then I would be starting up a business because I have a shit ton of money that I could just throw into it.
And remember, Walter, too,
and cook books like crazy.
Okay, 30 billion overall is great, but how much money have they made since Endgame? Because we're talking about like 10 movies or whatever it is that have all lost money.
So I will say this:
Deadpool, Wolverine made money.
I do understand what he's saying. I do understand what he's saying.
I get
it seems it does cutting your losses. It might seem insane to you, but you got to remember when you deal with people who have what is called fuck money. Once that fuck money becomes unfuckable, then they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. The people that are holding the gauntlet here don't care that they think that we like these movies or like this franchise, and they don't give a shit if it's not making the money that they think it should make. When your characters have been propped up to here, there might be a fallback, you know what I mean? But like going from Captain Marvel 1 to Captain Marvel 2, one made 1.3 billion and the other one made
nothing.
200 million.
If you were talking the same thing you mentioned about money going from Captain Marvel to Captain Marvel 2, when you were talking about making money and tax incentives, that means Captain Marvel basically just made nothing. If we're going by that logic,
because they also have to claim like the movie rights itself. I mean, this could be such a long discussion, but like when you're basically like this, when you're into that amount of money in a business, right, and you're dealing with that amount of money per day, the amount coming in has to be so much more than what you're putting out for it to maintain its business, because you're not dealing with actual currency. You're dealing with accruement of IPs, basically. You're dealing with like an accruement. Nobody's sitting there in Disney counting out $100 bills. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not how it works. The digital money that they're bringing in, because that's what it is, it's all decimal points. I don't know how that works with the banks that they use. I personally don't know, but I could tell you, like in businesses that I work in, like for us to stay afloat, like I told the story about the company that I worked for, they literally broke basically a $17.9 billion contract, but yet that company was bringing in, I mean, in the 5 months I was there, we brought in over $100 million, and they still said, nope, you're done. The Department of Defense was like, fuck you. You guys fucked it up. We're canceling the contract, even though we brought in that amount of money. So I mean,
there's one thing that I can say that they do like to hope. Maybe I could be wrong. You could correct me on this. So like, let's say the movie, they don't make that much on it, but they're hoping that they make this much money up, as people said in chat, of like the incentives, like backpacks, lunch pails, not comic books. No one makes money on comic books. That's just a pipe dream. Pens. So are there other ways to make up? Spider-Man lunch pails, I'm telling you, dude, right now, make more money than Spider-Man comic books. I'm not even shitting. I'm not even fucking with you.
They probably do.
They do.
Yeah, with or without the thermos.
There's an entire audience of kids who love superheroes don't even know they're from comic books.
Yeah, they probably bought a Batman backpack, and those Batman backpacks make more than Batman comic books. But that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is what they're talking about in chat is like, okay, you can't really make all that much money with this, but
no one's saying Disney is broke, Kevin Davis. No one is saying that.
Saying that they're not making money. They're making money on other things.
Marvel is not making a shit ton of money, regardless. Yeah. Deadpool made a bunch of money, like that. It's not Marvel Studios themselves. If that was the case, if they were making so much money and it was this, great thing, why are they canceling all these projects?
Yeah, Thunderbolts broke even.
That failed.
Brave New World broke even or was under. Ant-Man lost money. I mean, even in these successes, how much of that 1.3 billion does actually Marvel or Disney see? Because you got part of that goes to theaters, part of that goes to cost of production,
part of it goes to the production companies who finance the movie.
Yeah, so it's getting all cut up, and Marvel has, what was before the plague hit, it was reported that Disney overall had lost like $30 billion on a long stream of misfire films. I think The Little Mermaid might have been one. I'm not sure if it was Little Mermaid. It was a couple of their live action cartoons.
Strange World.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff like the Pixar had bad ones. They had a real big run of failures. Because if you're spending $400 million on a movie and it makes 450 total box office, well then Marvel's cut of that is a partial, or Disney's cut of that is a fraction. So Disney spent $400 million and they might have got, let's say if they got half of that money, then they got $200 million. Well, that's a $200 million loss.
I mean, if you want me to, I can go on my work computer and I can print this all out and I can show you. I did look into this.
I would not like to have a mouse in front of my door trying to shank me.
I'm just saying, like, I understand, I understand where people are coming from. I understand what they're saying.
They're looking at the surface level, but I understand.
It's not even that. They don't look at Disney does not look at other theater or other companies as competition. They don't. That's why they don't look at anybody as competition.
Oh, I could have told you that.
They look at themselves. They compete with themselves. Why do you think they have all these different initiatives?
I want to point out here with a lot of these, good Lord, they lied about how much money. Okay, so Marvel lied about how much the budget was for Doctor Strange 2. They had to file the taxes because they filmed the movie in UK, a part of it, right? So the actual budget got revealed on Doctor Strange 2, and that was around $400 million. So the money that they made puts that at break even. Deadpool Wolverine, profitable, sure. Let's use that one.
100%.
Guardians, no way that movie made profit. Did you see what the budget was compared to marketing on that one? That one broke even. There's no way else they made profit. So Wakanda Forever, $300 million. Total it up with marketing and their budget. It made $845. So no, that one also broke even. No, Thor.
No, it made money, but they made money, but it's like the amount of money they make is not what
I see what people are saying. They made money, but it's not actually making money where it advances you. It's like I made money and I pretty much have to give away half of it to other people.
I don't think they would sell the MCU. Me personally, I don't think they would because
also,
I don't think that they're in what dire straits that Marvel, the comic company, was in the 90s after the comic crash. What I think might happen is that they might not invest the amount of money that they were putting into these movies. Because when they were like making a shit ton of money, right? All the time, you put out whatever and it made money. They might not invest that amount of money in there. They might go look back and be like, yeah, we kind of revitalized Robert Downey Jr.'s career, but we only paid $80 million for Iron Man. Why can't we make another one for $80 million? When it balloons to the fact of like especially the Doomsday one, they had a goddamn stream for 5 hours of chairs. Every single one of those actors has to get paid, and how many of those actors make up that's going to make up like half of a budget of that movie of like 500 million. And then they're putting all these rewrites, all this stuff. That shit costs money. And if the actor is done, they wrapped. Oh, we need you back. They have to redo a contract. Like that's how it works.
These guys don't work.
They fulfilled their contract on that, and there's just so many little things that go into it that like the easiest way that I could say is like it might not be exactly the same, but like I was saying with the company that just closed, the government canceled our contract. We made a shit ton of money for the government, but it was nowhere near what we were supposed to make, and we were still profitable. And they were like, done. You are done. Done. Out. At what point we're saying, is it enough for the MCU not making what they were making before?
Or
and
the
budgets are still ballooning. They're not going down. They're ballooning to the point of it's getting ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. At what point do they say no more? Because they've already canceled how many things? Tons and tons of stuff.
Oh, and every time they cancel a project, it costs them money to get a script writer. It costs them money. Once these projects start moving, they're spending money to develop them. So when they cancel them, They don't get that money spent back. They don't get that money spent back for the script writers and the director and the pre-production build-up. So all of these, they're just constantly hemorrhaging cash on these areas. Now, Disney broke is a lot different than what we consider real life broke. But if you're Disney CEO and these films that should be clearing $1 billion are costing you or barely paying themselves back, that's a problem. We need to move Kevin Feige to something else or let him retire to move on to do other projects, but we need to get him out. We need to reboot the entire MCU and do an overhaul just like they did with James Gunn and the DCU. Like that kind of stuff is probably going to happen if Avengers Doom is a failure, which it looks like it's going to be.
What I'm bringing up is what Laps had been going over and getting frustrated with people about. It's the same thing people do when they talk about movies. People think just because, okay, we'll just give a base example. This is what the Hollywood trades pointed out, and I'm just only going off what they told me. The Flash movie needed to make $700 million to break even. Do you know how much money it made? $300 million. That was considered a failure. Okay, guys? Then you must consider you cannot put your movies in someone's place for free. They take about 50% of the ticket sales, and it's renegotiated essentially almost every year. So it could be less or it could be more than what we even have numbers reported, because they always tell you the estimated number. It's not the actual thing, right? So
plus your other holdings that you have cannot subsidize your movie studio. Just because your theme park makes this much money, you can't use that money unless they are joint. Yeah. You cannot do that. That is illegal.
Yeah, that's called. You can't do that.
You can't, because that totally breaks stock. Like you can't do that. That's almost insider trading.
So when you guys see,
we can make a shit ton of money on our lunchboxes, but if that lunchbox is not tied to the movie studio, which is MCU Marvel Studios, they can't just. You can't do that.
If Avatar makes $2 billion, so if Avatar makes $2 billion, that doesn't mean that fucking the MCU can use that money. They can move it over. You can't do that.
Well, okay, so no, that if that's part of the movie studio, they can definitely prop up that money. I'm saying if your theme park makes this money, your studios are a completely different holding. If that were the case, then the stock would continuously go up, because you're not losing money. Why do you think the stock goes down? Because divisions in that business are losing money.
Right. Yeah.
You can't use one to prop up the other. Just look what happened to the wrestling company, WCW. That company was making a shit ton of money. Then whenever Turner sold it then they went to America Online, they were literally using money that WCW was making to prop up their stock. And that's why a lot of it went out of business. That's totally illegal.
Gray and Warren saw this. So this was Flash was out a while ago. I'll use a recent movie. Gladiator 2 had a production budget estimated between $250 to $310 million, with a marketing budget around $100 million, according to the Hollywood Reporter, New York Times, to break even. That means you haven't made money. Break even does not mean you made any money. That just means like you just went out of the red a little bit. The film needs to gross $750 million or $800 million worldwide. Keep in mind, that's not profit. That is literally, I just basically kind of got nothing.
Sorry, I laughed at Eric's comment because I know I'm so old sometimes. Like I have to make references that make sense to me, or I start losing the plot in my own.
But people will be like, but people will look at this movie and it made. Let's see, what's box office mojo?
Hold on, Gray? What do you think about like this whole?
That failed.
I know it's not your wheelhouse, like the Marvel stuff, but like, what do you think? What do you think is like,
I think Disney's been hurting like extremely bad over the last couple years. It's been a while since they've had a hit in kind of any of their branches. I understand like the MCU is completely different. I can't see them selling it off. Kind of like what I think both Walter and Eric were saying in there. Just, man, to be able to use those IP, like they kind of need to have that license, and it kind of is a perpetual moneymaker for them, even if it's not the cash cow that it was like 10 years ago. But man, they need to be rethinking a lot of things if this next one isn't a hit. Just man,
I just see it
everything for like the
rebooting.
last 2 years has been.
Oh, I just want to point out.
Definitely, it's going that way, but I think they're too far in. With as much as they paid Downey and the two Russo brothers, and every other script writer in this, I think they're all in on this. But they've already said they're going to reboot it before. I don't know, man. If this and the next one are a flop, maybe they would pull up. But
will they call
that's
it
the only way that I could see it.
And I just want to point out one thing really quickly.
Ultimate X-Men live the movie, like what if like when they do the reboot, they just call it the whole Ultimate line like that.
Good lord.
They've been teasing that there could be this X-Men movie. That could be awesome. That would get me in there. That would get me somewhat excited. What they were able to do with X-Men 97 really got to me. So
well, they're developing the X-Men movie with the Thunderbolts director.
Yeah,
that's announced. Yeah,
that's what they're saying. Yeah, but
I did want to just point this out really quickly. So people will look at this number and go, they made money. It made $462 million. Not fact, because the average people don't know this. Not counting production companies have to get paid, theaters have to get paid. All that has just been eaten up in marketing.
Well, the fact that it was just shown that it needed to make $750 million to break even, seeing that number right there tells you it lost money. So,
but most people won't know that. Average people don't think.
Of course, they won't know that. But they don't. Nobody takes time to look at that type of stuff.
Yeah, because we're disgusting, filthy nerds. So that's what we do.
MSK, don't act like you knew that. You had to consort with AI in order to come up with that.
I had to look up stuff like that to I did because I didn't know how that worked. And then I was wondering whenever I was able to use actual servers that allowed me to look at certain information, I wanted to see because I was hearing all these numbers from Disney and I wanted to see what they were actually reporting. And what they were reporting was not what they were saying. It was clearly not what they were saying.
Okay, so you said Disney does this. What about a company like a Universal? Do they do this too?
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Oh,
everybody does it. They have to.
Which one's doing
no one's gonna want to sit there and say our movie was shit. It did not do anything.
We completely failed.
No one's gonna want to say that.
So
no one's gonna want to say
worst,
that.
Though?
I don't know. I was only looking at Disney because that was Disney. Like what I was, they're the biggest company out there that does this, like that makes these movies. And they were the ones that made movies that I was interested in. The Marvel Studios and stuff like that.
I think what's glaring with Disney is that they've done it with two massive IPs. Like Universal doesn't really have as many massive IPs. Warner Brothers just has the DCU, and then they have like what was it? Warner Brothers also had like Harry Potter and stuff along those lines. But like right now, Disney is essentially ruining $2 billion IPs, and they've done it in an amazing, like should be studied by future generations type fashion. So that's what stands out with them so much, because it's not only just Marvel, it's Star Wars, it's Indiana Jones, it's Willow, it's like all of these potential spin-off multiple film IPs, and they have completely ruined them and mismanaged them. Now you guys have convinced me, like I think selling Marvel would be really extreme, but there is a reboot coming. There is a Kevin Feige will not be there. There'll be new directors. There might even be a new name, like MCEU or some shit.
And,
we have to make this very clear though, because we keep seeing this in the chat. No one is saying that Disney themselves is not making money. Of course they are. Disney themselves, but Disney cannot prop up their movie studios with money that they bring in from other things. Those are not all aligned.
That's what
they cannot do that. Yeah. That is insider trading. You cannot prop up one studio with other money. You cannot do that.
That's the same thing.
That is literally illegal. We are talking about the movie studio of Marvel Studios. That is what I am specifically talking about.
No, I mean,
and yes, they can license a ton of things. Anything that has to do with those characters that they put out that makes money, yes, can go back into that because it is from Marvel Studios. They can make Hulk pajamas and all the toys that
Universal
they make. Yes,
won't allow that.
All that stuff. Well, I'm just saying, like they can, like whatever toys they make.
This is what I would always tell people.
They can do
years ago. It's like this is what I would always make sure I will always preference this. The movie division of Disney is not doing so well based off the numbers that I can objectively see from what they're reporting. Now, but someone said, but they're making money off the theme parks. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? What the it means nothing. It's like, great.
We're just talking about one section of them. It's just I'm only saying that I don't really pay attention to the other stuff that Disney makes outside of the MCU. I'm saying, me personally, I don't know. I just don't know.
But it doesn't matter to your point in general. It's a complete sports has nothing to do with the money they make off Star Wars and MCU. It does. It means
look, I mean, you could just look at Star Wars for what they've done, and like look at what they've did with the theme parks. Like, look how bad those failed with Star Wars. Like,
oh yeah,
but like Wizarding World is doing great. You know,
cool. I think they were going to make some Marvel ones too, but I don't know how
the money make off their biggest money maker division have to do with anything. I don't think that they're. I mean, I don't know if their movies are their biggest division. I personally do not know.
I see what you're saying. No. What I'm bringing up, them making money off sports and all that stuff has nothing to do with movies. That what they, from what I heard, from what we know, they try to make profit off each division by having someone run it, right? So you would factor in if one of them is not doing as well, that means that division is failing. That would be what that would mean, right? Like, just because the sports parks or the theme parks are doing well does not automatically mean that Disney Plus is doing well. You see what I mean? It's completely different, separate things.
They're not going to go to Kevin Feige and say, hey, you've lost us $10 billion in the last 10 years, but don't worry about it. ESPN's doing great. So
we're going to let you
bring
the money over.
Destroying our IPs. It's like Disney could easily go and say, okay, we can't do shit with Willow. We're going to sell that IP off. They sold the IP. What was it? Was it Disney that had Power Rangers, and then they sold it back to Saban for like a third of what they paid for it? It is they can liquidate these assets if they don't do good. Other divisions does not matter. If Pixar, plus Pixar hasn't had a money-making hit, I don't think.
They had Inside Out.
Inside Out was good.
Inside Out 2 was
good.
One has been bad.
That was really
Moana.
good.
They have Moana.
Moana 2 is good too. I like Moana.
Well, they also had Lilo and Stitch. That movie's been doing good too. The live action. Well, not Pixar, but Disney. That's a big film for them. So I mean, just because Marvel's doing bad, or let's say Pixar does great, if Marvel does bad, that means that there's going to be changes or stuff happening to Marvel. If Star Wars does bad, or Lucasfilm does bad, that's going to be on Lucasfilm, even if Marvel's doing good. And that Lucasfilm means, okay, what IPs on Lucasfilm can we get rid of that we just don't need to be spending money on because they're not making us any money? But the IPs that are strong, like Indiana Jones, are already talking about a reboot.
They're already rebooting that. Yeah,
they're already talking about a reboot. And
they want the license. This is why Disney and Sony had a falling out before that third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, because they wanted to renegotiate to have. So, from what I know, is Disney gets a bigger box office percentage of the return in the movie, but Sony has the licensing deal. And that merchandise would make you more money in the long haul. Which, if you want to play for the long haul and make more money off the merchandise, that's fine. But that doesn't mean the movie did well. If we're looking at it from that point of view, because that's a different thing, obviously.
Well, it goes down too. Like if you're running a company and since you're big M game, a bunch of stuff is not making any money and sometimes losing you money on stuff, and you want to keep going with it, then it's your money to burn. One of Disney's big problems is that they're almost kind of too big to fail. They have all of these other stuff going on around, so that they can blow $1 billion on Avengers Doom, and what happens at the end? They fire a bunch of people and reboot. So they're going to make money.
Fired Kathleen Kennedy if they're making money.
The MCU as a whole is definitely a profitable thing. We're not saying it's not been profitable. It just hasn't been nearly as profitable as. And if it keeps going that way, at some point in time, you're going to have to look at your losses. Of course, it's been profitable. It made a fuck ton of money in the first couple phases. Like enough to where they're like, damn, like we can keep going with this, to the point of they've made a bunch of not subpar movies in my opinion, whether or not they, but they at some point in time, when does underperforming become an issue? Do you want to continuously putting out underperforming movies and say, okay, well, we're just going to do that? Or do you reboot at some point in time and start fresh with this? I never think that, me personally, I never think they would get rid of the Marvel license. I think it just makes them too much money with so many other things that they do. But their biggest things that Disney does is distribution. Distribution is by far their biggest moneymaker. It has to be.
What about sponsorships and advertisement endorsements? Does that make them a good amount of money too when they can collab with other companies?
Well, I don't know, but distribution and media would have to be the number one thing. It would have to be.
Yeah.
It would have to be. But it's like I don't know. I just don't know. I just know I just know in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I know in the last 2 years what their tax holdings were very bad. They were not good. I could tell you that. That's why the stock went down so much.
It collapsed. I remember it did.
It went down tremendously. It was one of the biggest drops that they've ever had. But even then, it was still a profitable company. It's still
that's so bad.
A profitable company.
I hate it.
I mean, it is.
That's why they're called a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. They just have fucking everything. It feels like. Yeah, Sony. They're Japanese and they eat chow mein. That's not. See, you're Walter. You're conflating two things. The movie and entertainment has you cannot distribute monies between the two things. That's two separate things. Yeah. The theme parks doing well has no incentive on how the movies do well. They're different. They're completely.
That's two different tax holdings. You can't. If that were the case, like there would be so many things that would, like, say, another amusement park that does well around the world or whatever. There'd be many more places opening up those type of things to hide shell holdings. That's why shelling is so, you don't do that. You know what I mean? Like you have to tell the government and the IRS exactly what division is making what as a whole. That's what drives the whole stock price. Because if that were the case, then I could just go, well, I only want to invest in the MCU. I don't want to invest in all of Disney.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then I only want to invest into this. I only want to invest into their theme parks.
So even just within the movie division, like what you just said, so that means Star Wars functions as a separate business because we know
no. That's probably all under one. Like
it's called film and TV, right?
It's still all under their film and distribution. So Marvel Studios, the studios themselves still can lose money. The studio itself.
I know what you're saying.
The studio itself can still lose money, but the media group of Disney might not lose money. But if I have, here we go. Say this is Lapsed Comic Fan Entertainment, right?
And that would be a failing business. No one.
Of course it would be. But I have these two things over here, right? These two things, Walter Entertainment and Warren Entertainment, right? And Warren Entertainment is doing very well, and Walter Entertainment is not doing very well.
Lies.
That's still like, I still have to get like.
We got to make Warren money.
Will you stop? We still have to.
We gotta make. How do we make Warren money?
I'm done.
Business fails.
I'm
joking. Oh, he was joking with the. Great.
Done with you.
If you're running
I'm thinking about opening these. I haven't opened these since 19. They've never been opened.
What are they?
It's the Teen Titans run from 85 and 86.
Oh, nice.
They have never been opened.
How you been? I haven't seen her in a long time. She says they would have had hits if they didn't change shit like they did with the girl with the dragon tattoo series. Nice job, Sony. Yeah, Sony just lives to take L's, even in their fucking PlayStation department. What does Sony do outside of PlayStation well, besides take L's on everything?
Well, they make a lot of electronics.
They
make a lot of microprocessing chips that like NASA uses and like every fucking computer on the face of the earth uses.
So nothing with
pretty
movies,
good with
right?
microphones and shit too.
And yeah, like peripherals. They're
so it's literally just electronics. That's what they're good at. That's it.
Well, I mean, they did some pretty good Spider-Man back in the day. You know, the Walkman. I'm just saying.
The Walkman.
It's like the iconic portable tape player. Come on.
Yeah, they did, you know, put out Morbius. That'll be their forever biggest W because Morbius gave me the best way to critique a movie. Certainly,
I'm opening it
all time. Oh no, he's doing it live. He's doing it live.
I've had this literally since 1985.
Is there some cum on that Superman statue?
You're the gayest.
Why do you have to ruin everything, MSK? Just even if the Walter stocks were tanking, they would be nowhere near MSK stocks. Well,
no.
Allegedly.
No. Oh, look at that.
Oh God, how did it smell? Does it smell like me?
No, it smells like success.
Damn.
Oh, nice.
Damn. God.
Zing.
Zing.
It needs a board in it.
Shut up, bitch.
There we go. Look at that.
Damn. I'm editing. Hell yeah. I usually make quality. I'm something of a quality content maker myself. No? You guys are fucking bastards.
Yeah, but ATM means something different in your content that you make, MSK.
There we go. Look at that. Now it's got a board. Did I just ruin the worth of the comic?
I mean, collectors will appreciate that there's a board in there.
I know, but I've never opened these, period. They're still in the same slip bags that I got in 1986 and 87. So, who knows? Doing it for the content. No, I'm just joking.
We make quality around here. That's what we
MSK
do.
is unimpressed.
We do the quality around here.
but you know,
not MSK per se.
I don't think that you know, Walter, I think you're making very good points. I just, all I know is from what I know in the business that I work in. So that's what I have to go, and I could be completely wrong. I am open to the interpretation that I can be wrong about things. So, you know,
not me. I'm always right.
Well, that's probably why you are where you are.
Good Lord. I think you misunderstood what I mean. I'm not talking about taking money from different divisions. I'm talking about how they benefit one another. But isn't that just perceived? Isn't that just perceived?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess it would be perceived. They can't monetarily benefit each other.
The MCU brought a lot of value to the theme parks. I think that brings a lot of the boys in where, you know, they got the princesses and stuff.
Then there's
so I don't know. It definitely adds value.
The movies didn't add anything to the comic books, though. So sometimes it doesn't help. But I imagine the merchandising division and the parks division.
Yeah. I'm not saying these things didn't benefit each. Like, to be fair, I think what Walter is saying is, like, not everything has to benefit just as far as money. Things can influence other things to make money overall. But, you know, but that should be expected, though. Like, yeah, my successful MCU should prop up other things and more attractions, but that should just be like, okay, I would know that, right? So,
well, yeah, it's like any partnership, dude. It's just like Disney World and Nintendo, like the Super Mario World, like that. Yeah.
Like, I think too, like if Captain America toys were selling off the shelf and Disney looks like, okay, the toy division of Captain America licensing is doing amazing. Then they look at the movies. Well, okay, the movies are losing us money. It doesn't mean that they're going to look at the toy division and say, well, the toy division is doing good, so I'm not going to sweat the movie part. No, you're going to go to the part that's not doing good, and you're going to focus on that part. Disney's like, oh, the parks are doing great, so I'm not going to care that the Marvel movies are losing money. If the Star Wars movies were doing amazing and the Marvel movies were doing the same they're doing now, they're still going to look at the Marvel movies and say, okay, do we need new people? Do we need a new direction? Why are we putting money into this, into these IPs that should be making us billions of dollars, but they're making us millions instead? They're going to look at it because you want every part of your business to be healthy. Like, you can't look at what happened from Endgame until now and be happy with the projected track Marvel's going on. And I think it would be almost kind of silly to not think that they're due for some major changes in the next 5 years, especially if their tentpole franchise, the Avengers, is going to lose them massively amounts of money. I could see in the movie's going to lose money. That's bad for the IP. That could affect the toys. That could affect the theme parks. All of that stuff. I mean, it does work around each other. And just because one part's doing good doesn't mean they're not going to concentrate or be alarmed by the other part. If they were happy with what their film division was doing, they wouldn't have got rid of that other guy and brought Iger back. They would have kept the same person in charge, and they wouldn't make any changes at all. They make changes because they're not happy with the projection of their going. Now, doesn't mean they're going to be closing their doors, but it does mean that you could see some massive changes coming up because if we're being honest, they're not doing good,
licensing always 100%. You can, look at what if Marvel would have been smart, they would have just licensed all those IPs out, and it definitely could have propped up the main company, but they sold them. They sold it. So they couldn't get them back. And then, once Disney bought them out, then they were like, ooh, let's try to get back all those licenses that Marvel sold. Right. Because yes, licensing 100% can do that for you. But I think at some point in time, when we're only specifically talking about this particular branch of their, media conglomerate, we're talking about just specifically the movie division. And like, look what they've done with Disney Plus, like how many shows came out, and look at what they're doing with their shows now. You know what I mean? Like before, like you used to have to wait a week before it to come out, and then this week and this week. And they just they don't even care. They're like putting just shit out left and right. And now it's like, well, we're going to hold back on some of that stuff. Some of these things aren't going to come out, because it's just not profitable for them at that point in time.
Yeah. Is Disney
license agreements might be massively making money. Because, you can license, like he talked about Frozen, you can license that out to a different theme park. They could license that out to like someone that has like a theme park in your city or whatever, like Cedar Point or one of those type of things. They can license that stuff out anywhere and it'll make a shit ton of money. Because then you're having other people
just let it go
for those things, So, I mean, I just don't know at what point do they go, we either need to pull the brakes on this or we need to do something different. That's what I think. At some point in time, dude, they're going to have to be like, man, this shit ain't working.
I was saying, how much money are they
with
burning?
Like 4 in a row.
Plus? Like
not a ton. I mean, even Andor, which is kind of widely seen as one of the most successful ones, but it wasn't getting the views in the beginning. Now it's picked up a little bit of steam, and it was actually number 1 in streaming for a minute by the end. But yeah,
like on their
even that it doesn't
just...
seem to be just. It beat the streaming records, or it was the top of the streaming charts when its finale premiered. But even then, it's not like it was like breaking records or anything like that, or you'd see like this giant swell towards Disney Plus. But at least it's getting a little bit of recognition now. So
yeah, I mean, I think I like Andor.
I'm a huge fan. To me, it is.
They're saying that now Disney Plus is profitable. They're reported an operating profit of $336 million for the most recent.
Yeah, but they also cut like a shit ton of money out of it.
Yeah,
but yes, I understand.
Okay. So I guess Derpy is saying that they actually went and saw it. I thought the experience that they witnessed was just the internet without MSK, and it's like, yeah, we all experienced that great time, but it's no
I'm gonna
more.
Be real. F the critics and the haters. This film is the film we comic book fans always wanted for a DC and Superman as the character in this film. It was a celebration of everything Superman. I loved it. 9 out of 10. That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I hope to feel the same way.
You guys are making some great points. MSK as usual.
That's usually how it works, Walter.
For sure. And so are you, Walter. Like, Walter, those other parts of the company are
concise points. Very concise.
Yeah,
much better than anything MSK had.
That's not what Walter is known for.
Yes, it is.
MSK stocks are way lower.
Walter always listen. I'll say this: Walter to me always makes great points because most of the time, if I'm just that's why I feel bad, like, because, I'll be like, hey, stop for a second, and then we'll point out what he's, if at least to me, if I didn't think they were good points, I wouldn't even I would read it and then just not even, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, fuck, I'm not talking about that. But he makes a lot of good points, a lot.
Oh yeah.
So
what's up, Derpy? Derpy is one of the people that he's been with me for a while, like 4 or 5 years.
So now Derpy can love me. That's what you're saying.
Derpy will not
It would be really hard to do that, MSK.
Yeah, God. So apparently, I remember I did hear about that.
Derpy is too smart for that.
I did hear that Disney Plus was going to do what Netflix was doing, which was basically curb the password sharing. So if someone does password share, that person has to pay for that person that's they're lending their password to. That would actually make them a lot of money, actually. Because I think the reason why a lot of these streaming services weren't making money was because of password sharing. People just getting basically to watch free shit. So if that person wants to want their password, you're gonna make them pay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that could be, but they're also, when you're putting as much into a movie as you are a show on streaming, and it's not pulling in the amount of money that you have subscribers. And yes, you could say password sharing 100% could, affect that number. It can. But there's also the fact of when you have 3 or 4 shows that have the same budget as a movie, with nothing going into it other than, how often do you see commercials for things on Disney Plus about Disney Plus? It's very, you do, you know what I mean? But you don't see it like you would a movie.
They have
something
advertisers
like that
now too, because they have ad plans. They brought on advertisers.
They do. That's what I'm saying. They do have advertisers, but you don't see it nearly as much. So I'm not sure the advertising budget is conflated to that point, but the budget for the shows are, because I'll say this. I don't care what anybody says. This bothers me too. Whenever someone says, "Oh, that show looked like shit," and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I might not like the show, but this show does not look bad. I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? Looks fine.
Yeah, they don't remember the old days.
I thought Andor looked amazing.
Television. Yeah.
The look of it, the feel of it. People saying oh, it's just so drab. It's so and I'm like,
yeah.
They're that's what it is. These are rebels that have nothing. They're fighting
it's supposed
to
to be
get
the birth
everything.
of it.
You're right, exactly.
They spent $200 million,
but it looks amazing though.
Jeez.
Looks great. I liked it. I don't care. I like
$200 million on Andor. That's where did they get that number from?
Totally worth it.
From the money.
If you would have chastised them for the money that they spent on Acolyte, sure, go right ahead.
they spend money and then they add it all up at the end. And then
yeah, right. No, we don't know
if
they spent. Or even Rings of Power. Didn't Amazon spend $300 million for Rings of Power seasons or whatever?
No.
Dude,
that went
most
way
ever.
More. Most ever.
I think it was $1 billion.
They spent $1 billion for the first 2 seasons just for the licensing and the show. Yeah, it was something like $460 million for the season.
Warner Brothers made some bank on that one. That one made them a lot of money. That's crazy,
dude. That show just.
Well, that was
that one. That's another one.
Prime.
That was Amazon Prime. Yeah. That's another one Prime, that I didn't like the show, but everybody saying it looked terrible. I was like, what are you talking? What are you saying?
The costume and the fight choreography, it could have looked so amazing for the budget that they put into that. The other one that pissed me off was Wheel of Time. I was super into those books.
I love those, dude. I literally have 6 different editions of all of those books.
Nice.
And I actually just picked this up just to have to read. I just picked these up, the 3 box books where they give you the universal trades. So I have all of them down here on this shelf, and it did come with Newspring too. So the mass paperbacks, that's what they came in these little boxes, and there was 3 of them a piece. So there's 4 boxes in there. So I was like, that is very happy with that. And I actually still have, because how I heard of Wheel of Time was I had a group of friends back in the 90s that we played D&D a lot. And this is when it was why can't I remember? The Shadow Rising was coming out, and they were talking they were like, "Hey man, the new Wheel of Time's coming out, and it's called The Shadow Rising." Blah blah blah. You guys, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't never heard of it, and my buddy was like, "Dude, you haven't read it?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, you got to read it." And he went over and grabbed me the first 3 books off his shelf, and he was like, "You got to read these." So I went out and bought them, the ones that actually had the art on the front, the first editions. Yeah. I still have those. I still have them. Now, some of them are beat up.
70s.
Because,
I love that art, but at the same time, it was so off-putting.
Art, like it was so weird looking. But it's awesome, man. I love that book series, dude. I love it.
I got into it way late. It was after Branderson. I actually got in as a Branderson fan, and then it's like, wait a minute, he finished another series, and so I wish I knew about it when it was going on. But
so you guys are right, yeah.
Still love it.
The first season had a reported budget of $1 billion. Jesus Christ.
Yes. Yeah, because they
for that much,
$100 million per episode.
I would hope the fight scenes are as good as the movies, but
yeah, and they weren't.
Did it have any problems? Like sometimes those budgets balloon because they're doing massive rewrites, new directors, new directions, and stuff along those lines. So
I think it was near COVID. Go ahead. I know with Wheel of Time, like for instance, they had to completely rewrite the entire first season, and then they shot it during COVID too. So like the actors were all over the world, and then they could only have so many actors on set at a given time, and they're supposed to do like a war. That did not work out well. But I think I think the others were filming at the same time. I think there was also a writer's strike on the second season.
Yep. And they had problems with one of the actors. They had to replace him, all that stuff. Are you talking about Wheel of Time, or are you talking about
sorry, I was doing both, but with
the Rings of Power,
they have to replace.
They had, this is crazy. I saw this on one of their X-ray things, the X-ray things you can watch on Prime. They had problems with getting people for their war scenes that one in the second season at the end. They had problems getting all the people on set and everything. They actually did the old film on top of film on top of film. So a lot of those people that were there were not there with the other people. So like the fact that in my opinion, I'm just saying the fact that it even looked half as good as it did, that specific fight is all I know about. I don't know if they did it for other things, but that one, that's why it didn't look as big in scope as it should have. And I just couldn't get into the show. It bothered me.
For sure.
Wheel of Time bothered me more.
Well, it's amazing on how much has to work out to have a great, successful project. Like, you could have all the money in the world, and it just, if they don't use it the right way, then it looks shoddy. You could have the best money, effects, fighting, but if you have a terrible budget or writers, then the whole thing turns into garbage. I mean, it's amazing on how much stuff has to click in order to have a success.
What's up, Jose? Atmosphere, is that how you say it? What's up, man? How are you doing?
Joe's Atmosphere.
Oh, Joe's Atmosphere.
Yeah, Joe's Atmosphere.
Can't even read. God damn it! You know what? It's gonna be all shiny.
You read it better than MSK would have.
Here we go.
Treatment.
There we go. Here we go. Hey, yeah, it does say Joe's Atmosphere. Look at that. I'm blind. This is why I don't wear the glasses. Look at it. It's just all the lights I have in here. That's all I am. I'm like, hello, television audience. It is me, Talking Head Man.
But yeah, answering Walter's thing, it is a shame about Wheel of Time, and sadly, that's how people are going to remember that show. That's how they're going to remember that property, is through that show.
And you know what though has been really good? Wheel of Time. Their graphic novels that they did comics. Actually, they did New Spring. They did Eye of the World, and they're about a quarter of the way through, about 7 or 8 issues into The Great Hunt.
Hi, Joe's.
And it's actually really
awesome.
good.
And those comics are awesome.
They're fantastic.
MSK wouldn't understand because it's quality.
Yeah, I heard Wheel of Time got canceled, but the guy that wrote, I forgot the guy who wrote the books. He said they didn't even consult him.
Robert Jordan?
No, Robert Jordan's dead.
Oh, no, you're talking about Branderson.
Brandon Sanderson, dude. They threw him off set.
Well,
That's
they
what happened.
hardly even listened to him. They just wanted his name so that they could sign off that, like, yeah, we had Branderson as a consultant. But like,
yeah, because he told
they
them
didn't
like,
wanna...
you can't do certain things. Like, no, you can't do this. And then they were like, oh, yes, we can. You're not allowed on set anymore.
They weren't going to do the Horn of Valir. They weren't going to do a whole bunch of shit. And then it's like, no, that's like required in the show. And yeah, finally they listened to some of his things, but man, bad times.
Yeah. And the horn they did, it was so stupid.
It is. Like, why would you make the horn look like that?
That, and just like when he blew it, like when you read it in the books and like all this whole army comes back. And then when he did it in the show, he blew it on top of a building with like 8 people. Like,
and one of them's Uno. It's like,
yeah, one of them's Uno, who he was just with. Like, what is happening? And then all the fake out deaths, like freaking Padden Fane stabs Loyal, and you're like, what?
Well, but it's with the dagger. The dagger that like
the dagger that kills and spreads everything.
Well, he also like tied it to a pole and made his Ashendari that way, and it's like, oh no, fuck you. Like everything about this is wrong. Anyway, yeah, fuck that program. I'm glad that it did get canceled.
I will say this: that is it. I know, I don't hate watch things, but that is one show that me and my brother, who I got into the Wheel of Time books, and we would watch and then talk about it and laugh our asses off.
For sure. I watched every one of them. This season had simultaneously like their best episode and their worst. So yes. I don't know. It's weird. Just when
Ruidian was like, I thought one of the best things that they did.
That's mine, man.
Really cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
They really fleshed out the Aiel in a good way.
$58 million per episode for season 1 of Rings of Power. That is insane.
Yeah. Plus, you got to remember that went in with the license that they bought, though.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I give them a little bit more leeway because they're literally coming up with a story. Like, they have like a thumbnail sketch because it's based off of the appendix, and that's like it. Where Wheel of Time, they bought the fucking rights to it. Why aren't they using that story? Like, why are they doing the same thing with that one?
Well, I knew that it was going to be bad. And you can look this up. The guy actually said this. So whenever Rafe Judkins got the showrunner, right, people were like pissed because they were like, this dude's done nothing. Like, why would he? He literally said, you guys better shut up or I'll make all of your favorite characters gay. He actually said that.
Wow.
So I knew exactly what we were getting.
What a way to just...
And he didn't say it like that. He said, y'all better shut up. I make all your characters gay.
No, of course they sound like that.
No, I'm just joking.
They drink 23 lattes they got from Starbucks.
But he did say that.
Good Lord. And they think that's going to get straight people to go, yeah, I'm going to make all these characters suck cock. Yeah, I'm not watching that then.
Walter, I haven't watched The Sandman. My wife's watched it. I know she likes it. I know that. The Harry Potter series. Here's the thing. I didn't care. I did not care that they made Snape black. I cared that they made him good looking. He's supposed to be like the ugliest man. Like, that's what I thought. I was like, what? Like, I don't care if you race swap him like that, but
they already did that. I'm just saying, Rickman was awesome. He is not an ugly man, and that voice.
No, he's uglier than that dude.
All right, fair enough.
You know, that he's like a step up from him, and I agree with you. Rickman's not an ugly person. You know, it's just he was supposed to be super ugly. You know, and there's certain things like they're gonna have to change little things. You know, like when James and Sirius are messing with them and stuff, it can't be a tree. It cannot be anywhere near a tree. It just can't be. Have it over by
like they got the age a little bit more correct, but yeah,
they did do that. Yes, because it felt like there was such a gap between them. Because like I listened to the audio books of that. I didn't listen to the American guy. I listened to the English guy.
Nice.
And I thought they were great. I had a lot of fun with them because I had listened to them at work, and I was like, "Oh, these," you know, because I was obviously when that came out, I was way past the audience that it was made for. But I heard such good things about them. I was like, "Fuck it, I'll, try them out," and I liked them. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I hope that the show's great. I really do, because that's such a world that you can do so many things with. It's such an open and vivid world. Like, she's painted like such a broad picture with all the places
there is
and
so
things
much
that they
you
can
do
do
with it too.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan, but I will say the films were very, very well done. The ones that I saw were very well done. I just didn't care for the story much. It really wasn't made for me. So, but
it's totally Star Wars.
Oh, it is completely.
It totally is.
Oh yeah.
Totally is.
Yeah, it's British Star Wars.
Before we go, want to just admire this art piece of Superman the Animated Series. This looks amazing.
It's pretty dope.
It's pretty fucking cool. And
what a good show, man.
Great show. Funny how stoic and edgy that Superman is, yet people never complained. All right. Undoubtedly so. That was
I think he means edgy as in like the blockiness of him, not edgy.
Okay. I was like,
not deep and edgy.
My definition of edgy. Yeah. Okay.
He says stoic. Yes, he's very edgy, always making snide comments. He's not really goofy at all.
That's not. Oh, then he is talking about that. Then
so
he's not edgy at all. He's not edgy at all.
No.
Not like at all.
What's that saying? Tell me you haven't watched it without telling me you haven't watched something. But lie. Just literally went out on the internet to just sprout some lies. You know that meme of like, I just want the internet to spread misinformation.
The only episode
he's
that
really
I can
sheltered.
That I can.
What if that is the edgiest thing he's ever seen?
That he would be considered making snide comments was whenever he had to play Bruce Wayne, when he was doing the stuff with Robin.
Yeah.
He made a couple of those comments and made that face like, but it's kind of about it.
Hey, if people just say that because someone said something snarky, you're being edgy. It's like, no, people are just snarky like that in real life.
That's why I always say that. I always go deep and edgy.
That's what I had from my wife when we had sex last night. So,
well, who didn't see that comment coming? Raise a hand. Anybody not see that one coming? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
MSK didn't even know that it was going to happen. It surprised him.
He's deep and edgy himself.
We should put a counter in the corner of the screen that every time he veers off like that, we can just put up a number like 5, 6.
A restart counter and a dicks and sex with his wife counter.
Oh, fuck. But yes, we're gonna wrap it up here tonight. We had a great show. It's past Lapsed Comics fans' bedtime. He's old.
I'm all right.
Oh, I hate this
MSK,
guy.
I thought you said you didn't wrap it up.
Yeah.
No, condoms are for soy boys. That's how it works. I just go in raw and pound and leave.
Wow.
Deep and edgy.
Your porn writes itself.
Hey, when I eventually write my own book, I'm gonna be a New York Times bestseller. I'm gonna be an author, a hot, sexy, rich, good-looking author.
How? You can't even like spell the words that you say.
Yeah. There's like AI.
Can you even spell
AI.
hentai?
Can you even spell AI?
I'm gonna type it all into AI and have them make the book for me because I'm lazy and black, and you guys know how that is. So
I thought you were white.
What kind of sheltered life are you living? That's super.
That version of Superman is edgy.
If any look up the Superman animated series version was edgy, you didn't. I know you didn't watch the show, or you just making up bullshit just to make up bullshit. There's no way that guy could be considered edgy. There's no way. Or maybe you're just a loser and you're just cringe as fuck.
So, does anybody think that depiction of Superman, though, with I think it was Timothy Daly's voice, right?
Yeah,
Tim Daly.
Tim Daly. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me, like, I don't get me wrong. Listen, I was born in the late 70s. I grew up on Christopher Reeve Superman, but that Superman to me, the show might not have been as good as the Batman show, but that version of Superman into the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, into some of the movies, I don't know. That depiction of Superman will always be probably my favorite.
I liked
George
Newburn's voice on Justice League Unlimited and the animated series. There was 2 of them, right? There was Justice League animated series and there's JLA Unlimited, I think.
Yeah, there was Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited.
George Newbern, voice of Superman, so damn good too. Just knocked it out of the park every episode.
what was the one that was real funny? It was like the one guy ended up doing Granny Goodness. Who was it?
Fuck, I forgot his name.
It was a guy. Was it Newman? Who was it?
Good Lord, I have to look down here.
Maybe but it was
Newman?
like I can't remember.
Ed Asner.
Ed Asner, that's who it was. Ed Asner did Granny Goodness. How hilarious and awesome is that? Yeah, how hilarious is that? Like, that's hilarious to me.
That's some range. He went. Damn, he had some voice acting range because wasn't he also an Up?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Damn. Cinema that we're performing here tonight. We're just doing quality cinematic content here for you guys.
Walter said,
well, I mean,
first Superman
lapsed
that wasn't corny. Oh, I'm not. You guys, listen. You guys are better than I am. I just am loud.
You are the captain of the ship.
Oh, true.
God.
You are
this ship has needed a captain for some time.
We'll just do it
MSK aimlessly steered this and just hoped that it would go in a correct direction.
We'll just do it like Blue's Clues did for when Nickelodeon had that show on their block, which was they replaced Steve with Joe. I'll just replace myself with Laps Comic Fan, and he can be Master Swag King.
That would be a much better show.
I never want to have Riz Master or Swag King anywhere near representing the whiteness that. Wait, what was it? What MSK? What was the thing in the Black Panther?
The blackness
review
itself.
Yes, my whiteness itself cannot be represented by Swag King or Riz Master. That interview or that
funniest article I think I've ever read in my life.
My God, dude.
For the part he said,
lining it up and hitting them out of the park.
He didn't understand why fans were confused. What?
You're talking about the Black Panther comic where
the
sun was white.
Yeah, he was confused that fans were confused. He was mad that fans were confused that there was a white Black Panther. You don't say.
He said it was a disparaging comment on blackness itself. Dude, we were dying for like 15 minutes.
God, oh my God. I've never changed fucking these
That's hilarious.
bought and paid for journalists for like Screen Rant and Collider. Never change. Please. That shit is funny as hell. You know they're bought and paid for, so they're gonna give you the most bought and paid for opinion. He literally said he couldn't see the reason why fans were upset at a white Black Panther. What?
What was that acting, MSK?
It's almost like
wait, MSK. The camera didn't pick it up. Do it one more time.
It's almost like the character's name is Black Panther. So I would assume, without looking at him, I would assume he's black. Just observation skills I have.
But now you hear the name White Panther. What happens?
Goodbye. So, Laps was
you're censoring him. How dare you?
What are you talking about? CNN's great. They're getting a lot of ratings, allegedly.
You never censored the mustard, man.
Laps was the captain doing a hell of a job steering the ship. Unfortunately, the giant iceberg named MSK came out of nowhere. There was no way to prevent it from being a sinking ship. Are you calling me the Titanic?
No. The show is the Titanic.
Yeah.
You are the iceberg.
He's the captain.
He thinks the iceberg is called Titanic because it was big.
Why the Titanic? I'm too big to fail. I'm like Disney.
But
before tonight, did you pronounce it Titanic? I'm just wondering.
Right?
Titanic.
Wait, I didn't see the movie with
Of course you didn't. It's cinema.
DiCaprio. I heard it was gay.
Yeah, and Kate Winslet.
Yeah, that was gay. They were talking about loving each other. That's homosexual.
They didn't talk about loving each other. It was just painting each other like the French girls.
I watched that movie, Gray. It's for homosexual.
I think you probably did. It had what's his name in it as well. I know you're a big fan
Zane,
of him,
right?
Billy Zane. Thank you. I was reaching for Zane and I couldn't come up with it. It's like, come on, it's the Phantom, your favorite.
You want to hear something funny? I actually went to see the Phantom in the theater.
It's all we had for a minute.
I'm not lying.
I was really hoping that one was going to be good too.
I saw Billy Zane in that purple, and I just went, gotta see it.
It was no Rocketeer.
No,
I saw that in the theater too.
That in this was The Shadow with
I forgot about that Baldwin with his trigger finger.
Yeah, Sam Raimi.
Shadow in the theater.
Yeah, Sam Raimi and the Shadow. Yeah, that one was fun. Yeah.
You know what? That's funny. My mother when she brought all her stuff over here when she moved in with us, she was like, Steven, I have like some of your stuff that you left here, like, you know, when you left. And the first thing that I found was a VHS tape of the Captain America made for TV movie.
Oh, that was awesome.
And isn't the worst Captain America.
And I watched it.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
I somewhat remember that. I think he only like throws his shield like 2 times in that movie, like to take out a guard tower.
There's so much running in that movie, like him just running by stuff and like juking stuff. Like it's like
Oh man!
But that's funny. Like that's the things that I kept, not like pictures. It was Captain America.
Well, Marvel also kept that running thing with their Captain America, you know, that like on the left or whatever. Just saying, they reused that same running bit.
They definitely did. I think I had the Fantastic Four one in there, which is like the scene. My favorite scene in that is where when Reed Richards stretches, right, and you can literally see the cloth with the metal slinky inside of it, and someone's just pulling it. Like you can, it's great. And I have like a large collection of kung fu movies, right? And my favorite ones are when Jet Li was becoming big in China, right? There's this movie that it's called Meltdown in America, but I can't remember what it's called in China. There's a scene, and I shit you not, I had the DVD of it, and I would like pause it and go frame by frame. There's a scene where a car is supposed to like run into this person up against a wall, right? Well, when you do the frame, it looks like a music stand with a jacket over it and a coconut. I'm not joking, dude. It's literally this bad. And you literally see hands come from the side and pull a rope, right? And there's another scene where I swear they used the same music stand and coconut where these people were being blown up in the fields. And like it shows the kid and then a faraway view, and it's just this fucking clothes hanger and a coat.
I mean, it can be awesome.
It was fantastic. I loved it. I love that movie. But if you watch Meltdown, look for that scene, and you will. If you pause it and go slow, you will be like, that is completely a music stand and a coconut with a jacket on it. I love that stuff.
People have also accused MSK of being a music stand and a coconut.
I'm not Diddy. So, we're gonna wrap it up here. We had a great show tonight. Do have to get some things done. I have to go have sex with my wife and got to do all kinds of stuff.
Nothing to do. What are you talking about?
You think I have stuff to do? I have to go outside. I have to go and touch grass.
No, I don't think you have stuff to do.
And I don't think you ever go outside. There is no grass you shall be touching.
I don't think you're married.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you dug a tunnel to your job that you have.
Yeah, is this a
go
road
outside.
session?
And we definitely think that your bed is a bunch of Amazon boxes.
No, Lap said that, and he made a narrative. That was his narrative, not mine.
No,
Good Lord.
No. My narrative.
Some of them are Little Caesars.
You said what you said was, I was like, you don't even have a bed, and you said, yeah, I have shelves. That's what you said. And I said, so you sleep on the shelves. Z is the one that got the narrative down. He is writing the epitaph and book of MSK that will be on your tombstone. He is writing the lore of the house. You'll have to ask Z about that. He knows all when it comes to MSK lore.
Wrote my lore. He's gonna have you know how like Batman and Superman get those ultimate guys from DC. He's gonna make an MSK ultimate guide.
It's gonna be this, dude. It's gonna be the new history of MSK.
Oh God, I really can't stand you clout chasing bastards. But that's why I give you guys the big bucks here. So since I was away for a week on my unpaid vacation that I was forced to take from YouTube,
deserved.
Fuck you, bastard.
All right then.
Oh, sorry. I was putting out quality banter.
I know there must have been a big ball that rolled by, and you needed to catnip it up. What?
How does you guys' mind? I'm not the freaking dog from Up where you say squirrel. No, doesn't work that way.
I don't know, dude.
Sometimes.
I don't know, bro.
This hasn't caught up yet. We're not caught up. It has the latest episode, which is 267. I'm not even
it's got
caught
a
up.
Depends ad for you.
Look at that, dude.
I'm
44
gonna catch
episodes
you,
for
Gray. I'm catching you. I'm getting closer.
There's no way it's not going to catch up in time. You should have more episodes. You should.
I just don't understand how I don't have. I know I've been on more than 21 episodes. That is not a real number.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been updating. There's no way.
MSK, you had a week off. Why didn't you update it?
Yeah,
I don't control this. I don't control this at all. I have
sure
no
you
control
don't.
this. No, being honest,
Dude,
I'm serious.
you
You
know
just
what's
want to hit
funny?
that login button up in the corner.
You know what's funny? That right there without my glasses, I thought that said tiny butt face.
Yeah, MSK gave himself a second
The cast
credit on here.
Persona.
The cast and crew. I don't pay these people. Like, I don't pay these guys at all.
Walter has a good question. Did IMDb did they drop the scoop yet? Have you been renewed for a new season?
Yeah, see right here. They even updated Michael, Walter, and WZ's episodes that they've been here. It's
Hell
just
yeah.
very slow. Yeah, because Selena's been here in forever, and we don't have Emerald on the show anymore. So that's how long they appeared. But because back then Michael only had like one episode. Michael had one. Now he has 7. So it just updates very slowly. But do I really want to give you guys more money on my show? Because if we go broadcast, if we get syndicated like Friends, we make millions of dollars in residuals. Do I give you guys money? That's how it works. Like, someone might be watching this show.
Could get syndicated?
Like, because it's crazy. Someone might be watching this show on their TV right now in front of their grandma as they're laying back on the couch.
I don't believe that's true, Alex. For 200.
What is full of shit for 400, Alex?
I'm pretty sure most of the people watching probably don't have grandparents anymore.
A lot of people watch me on the big screen.
They've either died already or killed themselves after seeing that they were watching the show. Where did I go wrong, son? Where did I go wrong? I didn't beat him enough.
Son.
Yeah. The goddamn grandson.
What's a Riz Master? Tell me.
Dude. See, I told MSK this and he still hasn't changed it. My son was watching YouTube and I heard something and I went, "Hey, go back to that video." And he would look at me like, "What happened?" And went back to the video and it was 2 like little kids arguing over who had more Riz. No shit. And I'm like, MSK, you have to change that. No. Once the 5-year-olds get that in their vernacular, that's
okay.
a word.
I will change it to something different right now.
It's now.
I'm glad that you compromised and at least went with Riz Master instead of the original, the Rizzle stick. I think it's much better, but still, you could do better.
What about the Rizzler?
That's perfect.
That's my league. That's my league screen name. Good lord, but I can't do that because that's gay and cringe. Because league is for losers.
Black to the district attorney's future. It makes perfect sense.
So when did we actually start this show? So we can celebrate an anniversary potentially. I've
told you to do it on the 300th show.
We started this show. Yeah, I remember we should do a Saturday show. Saturday, September 21st, 2024. So that means our anniversary for this show is.
Dude, you've had 269 shows in less than a year.
Dude, I did 608 shows.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
So I did 608 episodes on another show in a year and a half.
But how many were good?
Allegedly, debatably none.
Well, we know at least 44 of them have been good. Since that's how many Gray's been on.
All right.
So we know at least that is a number that can at least be quantified as possibly be good.
And you can probably add the number also that Lapsed has done and Warren, because those shows are always elevated, and so there's probably a fraction.
Here's my problem. Why is this in seasons? This is not a seasonal show.
Why is your first episode called "The Journey to Becoming a King"?
I was being cool and good looking.
That's not a journey one makes. You either someone dies and it happens. It's not like you.
I don't get it. It's not a seasonal show. There's just episodes. The Cloud9 podcast is seasonal because League actually has legitimate seasons.
They probably do that for everybody on here.
They probably do, yeah.
Yeah, so you just be on season 1 forever because you're just
imagine a season 1 having 115 episodes in it. You'll die watching that.
What are you, One Piece?
Isn't that what you just did?
No, not necessarily true. But we pay Gray a lot of money here to run it down on shows, which is amazing. My money well spent. Thank you, Gray.
That's awful, Michael. That is awful.
That's not even a record for him. He lost his. I had something I lost.
No, that happened, right?
And the New 52 said that the previous history didn't matter.
But it happened though, right?
But the higher ups said it didn't matter.
Yeah, that was.
Who's higher up than you?
There's no executive above me. I'm the showrunner.
Oh wait, the bed. The bed is the executive. That's why we've never seen it. He's like Dr. Claw.
I mean, in a way, he works for the Little Caesar.
Good lord. Good lord. I just come back and I get roasted into oblivion.
Pizza.
I like, hey, Domino's is amazing. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, the goal, we might, you guys have been asking, we might celebrate for episode 300, but the problem here with celebrating is I don't really feel like in a celebrational mood. I want to just, I don't do a celebration when I'm not feeling it. I feel like we did enough
do it
yet.
like the Simpsons did with their 138th spectacular. You do it on the 299th show.
We can do it like a Summer of MSK initiative.
You'll be on 299 next week anyway, so you might as well.
Yeah, because after this episode, we'll need 300 more for a 300 episode. If you guys really want it badly, I'll pull some strings.
Wait, no, that's not. That math does not add up.
Yeah, did you say after this episode, we'll just need 300 more for the 300th episode?
After this episode, we'll need 30 more episodes to hit.
You said 300
not the words
more.
that you said.
No way.
So are you rebooting the show after tonight? Then
rebooting back to a new number 1 like Marvel. I'll just become the very thing I hated.
Yeah, it's variant covers.
It's funny. He can't deal with that. By the way, he does not like that. If you mess up show numbers, it drives him insane. And that's why me and Savage Dad did a show together, and it was episode 1/2. And then he went to episode 1 million.
They did one called 1.5, the MSK edition. What does that even mean?
Well, it's 299
as good as
just skip 300.
But the best part was it was his second episode. Because he was talking to me before we were recording, he's like, "Don't pay attention to the show title."
But we'll get back to where the Iron Man podcast was at eventually. But it's something that I've learned when doing this many shows. It's not about how big your show is in terms of episode number count.
No, it's not about the size of it, right, MSK?
It's about the motion in the ocean, which you small dick motherfuckers say. So
you're telling me that you need a moon?
What?
Well, that's how the motion in the ocean is happening.
I have all that too.
He's like, I can only do it when it's a full moon.
Yeah, the reason why
like a werewolf.
The reason why I stopped the other show
explains
was
the hair.
Because we did so many good ones on Rumble, and no one cares about what happens on Rumble at all.
Is that why you had to restart the show today? Because no one cares about Rumble?
So essentially,
damn it, MSK.
Well, okay, to be fair, essentially, I did one last. I'm all in. So DC did it. They're all in right now. Why can't I be all in?
So when's your absolute power coming out? Because I feel like locking you in the cage and shooting you in the leg.
MSK, this is you all in?
Yeah, I'm all in. That's it. I'm like absolute Batman. I'm going. I'm scripted episodes in my head to 1,000. I'm like Scott Snyder. I'm a genius, actually.
Can the audience even feel it, though?
No, they can't. Can you feel me through the screen, Gray?
I think I can speak for the audience when it doesn't feel like you're all the way in.
I never felt it with the girl ever because I'm usually too big for them. But no, we did a lot of really great
big moon.
No, I want to be in Uranus. Sorry,
he said the MSK Rumble series equals She-Hulk.
It's crazy because we did a lot of good episodes there, but I knew in the back of my head I had to stop it because nobody cares about nothing I do on here. People only care about what I'm doing on here and Twitter. Shows are on Rumble because it's just a backup storage, just in case anything happens to it. I can have it there. And there is an audience there for the stuff that I do, but no one cares if I'm just singularly there, you know? So I was like, you know what? DC went all in. Why can I go all in? Dawn of MSK didn't happen. We don't count that. You know, it failed miserably.
Is this absolute MSK?
Yes,
right now?
I'm in my absolute form now. Good Lord. God, man. I hate all of you people.
I don't think so.
God, man. But don't worry, we'll eventually get there to it. I mean, the ultimate goal is 1,000, but right now we're just gonna work on getting to 300,
So
then
about
500.
like 3 more weeks, you'll be at 1,000.
I wish. We'll be hit 1,000 will just be next year. Because I want to hit 500 by the end of this year. I think we can do it.
Whew,
Very
boy.
possible.
I mean, you can. You should be able
It's
to.
very possible. And then when we have a 500 episode celebration, that's when I'll bring on like, Nerdrotic and Ben Shapiro and Ryan Cannell and
So you're definitely having me on that show so I could yell and scream at those fucking posers.
Because you guys you're gonna embarrass me in front of my friends.
Oh, friends.
You don't have friends.
I was gonna say, I'd rather fuck a cactus than get in a conversation with Ben Shapiro.
I could bring on his. Wait a minute. I could bring on. We don't know any good looking. We don't know any girls. You guys are all nerds. Fucking hell.
My wife is hot.
I don't think we know any girls that we'd be comfortable introducing you to.
Whoa. We could bring on Kidit. She said she would come on next week. We could bring her on for a Wednesday show. She could be our featured guest for Wednesday next week. I can do my rizzing.
You don't want to do that to her. Come on, her career's going well right now.
I could. She loves me. She did a diagram on my sex life, and she just drew a circle with my initials and put an X through it. I was like, okay.
No, that means you're canceled, dude. I mean, you have nothing. It's not a landing pad.
I did message another girl, but she said we would have to schedule my appearance out because I'm really busy. And I was like, okay, what days work for you? And then she didn't reply back. I was like,
well, maybe she's at the gym.
Or she watched your content.
So how did your date with Jim go?
Jim. Oh, no. I told you guys, remember? She didn't. I sent one text and I got no reply, and I was like, I'm done. I'm just not doing it.
Oh, she must have went to the game.
She must have went and got pounded out by her Tyrone boyfriend. That's how it works. What else is here? Another girl said, I have women to come on. I got nothing. I got literally no girls. And I'm good. Only dudes matter here. Just cocks and
Dude, Sparkle said she would come on, but you won't let her on.
No, I'm good. We have standards here.
Well, I had her on my show. She was fine.
And there's no way that you meet any sort of standard and then she doesn't.
So.
Come on, MSK. Like,
dude, there wasn't Epstein files either. We know those don't exist.
What does that have to do with anything?
I was trying to be a politician. I was trying to deflect.
Oh, good one.
I hate you. Good Lord. This is why
we know this.
Next season, you're getting your season episode number slashed. You're not a series regular. You're gonna be a guest star, maybe.
I'll be appearing in a very special episode of MSK. They explain to him the alphabet. Dude, you should try to get LeVar Burton on.
Who's the?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be
Geordie
cool.
LaForge.
Yeah, dude, we could do Reading Rainbow with MSK.
Oh fuck!
Butterfly
no,
in the
okay,
sky.
so like I can't say the name. This person might be watching.
Take a look in a book.
I'll say this because I know this person.
Rainbow.
I know this person.
I can do
anything.
Tell him, what's up, buddy? Did you ever have Jaded fanboy again? Jaded hasn't. I haven't talked to Jaded in forever, and the only way I had contact with Jaded was through a certain individual that I'm never talking to ever again. So Jaded's pretty much, never going to talk to me ever again either. Not because we dislike each other, but the person in the middle, makes that a problem. But it's okay. I'm not talking to that person ever again. So I just have dudes here, just dicks forever.
Well, this isn't a dating service. Like, so,
Just
I
saying,
mean,
man.
Oh, I always provide quality entertainment. I'm something of a quality content creator myself.
I don't believe you.
Oh, so this person knows me real life. The person said they watched the show. So
Bellman. Well, yeah,
no.
they just said you and goated in the same sentence. So obviously, this is a person that knows you.
No, Rogue Hero. So I tried to get him back on for another one-on-one. He has a new job now. He's been really busy, and then he's been playing Beyblade, and he's been playing Beyblade a lot with his son at locals. They have these Beyblade tournaments. I said Beyblade is for
They
losers.
definitely do have those. I've seen them.
I used to watch Beyblade. I like Beyblade, but I never was into like actually playing it. I thought that was weird.
You were more into the bays than the blades.
Good lord.
Oh.
Uncomfortable silence.
Oh, no.
You were mocking Beyblade, yet you love Yu-Gi-Oh.
So I may have
Justify.
So I may have been potentially raising up another lady, right? And then it got to a point where
does the potential mean she might be a lady or she might not?
No. This person was like, "You're rich, you're cute, you're rich. I want you to take care of me. You're a fucking."
Okay, so
male.
they're either a scammer or blind.
So like you're not allowed to just go in to the psycho places, right? You can't just walk in there and start talking to
what? I just said, oh my god. Okay. Nevertheless, so it kind of got to a point.
So right, you were rizzing. Go ahead. You were rizzing up a lady person.
Yes, a lady. So it got to a point where like you guys know how women are. You've talked to a lot of women, right? Well, you guys are nerds, so no. But I'll just hypothetically assume you did. You know how it gets to a point where unless you initiate the conversation, that person doesn't talk to you. I just got tired.
No.
Like I mean, I don't want to be the person always initiating conversation. I really don't. That's why I just.
Nobody talks to me. So
I mean,
too much chasing. You just want to be the chased.
I mean, no, it's not we didn't have bad conversations, but I just hate being the person to unless we're doing this because this. It's different. This is a little bit. This is.
You feel like if you didn't say anything, then she would have said nothing at all.
So for a reason.
You feel like you were driving the entire conversation, and it makes you feel like, okay, I'm sorry.
If I just didn't say anything, would you care? Yeah. So
you're being nice, but I'll leave you alone, man.
Yeah. So this is.
So you essentially felt like laps the entire time here.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is just how I do things, and I don't do this with everyone, but if I'm the one who's always driving our conversation, let's just hypothetically, if I just stop talking to you, and I usually experiment like this, would you ever interact with me ever again? Would you even care that I even existed? Or like let's say,
are you asking me personally?
No, I'm just with this person, not you guys at all. It's actually nothing to do with you guys at all. You guys interact with each other.
The chat, no.
Like that's why I say sometimes, if I die, would you care? And in this case, if I stopped messaging this person, I did. I stopped messaging like 4 days ago. If I died, would this person care? How would you know? You don't talk
why does it gotta be like if you die?
Talking.
But maybe your hypothetical should be a little bit
It's
lower.
weird.
Like,
okay, so
if I didn't call this person, would they call me?
I'm not gonna say there's like absolutely no interest. There's been some, I cannot say, but
why can't you say it's a fictitious woman that has no interest in you, so who cares?
It's not, this person's real. So
but we don't know that.
Because I knew at one point, if I didn't interact with this person, they wouldn't interact with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm good on this. Like, why am I interacting with someone this much? And it's like, I know if I didn't talk to you, you wouldn't talk to me. Like, that's the problem with women. I hate that. I hate always just being the person to always initiate. Because if I don't initiate, you wouldn't speak to me.
What if she's shy?
Fucking hell.
Or what if she actually saw that you called yourself the Riz Master and she was just like, oh,
what if she looked up your Twitter?
That's just too much for me.
MSK would like the girl to ask him what it tastes like for once.
Oh my god.
Bellman says, if I were to die murdered in cold blood tomorrow, would you feel sorrow, show love, or would it matter? Eminem. Yep, the rap god for a reason.
You mean like the candy?
No, the white guy.
Oh, he's stupid.
He said one of the dumbest things ever. He was like, man, I hate being white. I wish I could be. Oh, God, it's the funniest shit ever.
No, I don't.
No, man, the green one.
I'm sure he's good at what he does.
No, he's a very good. I like him in his music. He's great at that. But as a person, no, I would never talk to that guy.
Yeah, but at MSK, like Walter makes a good point. Jokes aside, you're probably overthinking it. But I do know what you. I do.
I can't
know
be,
what.
Man.
Hold on. I do know what you're saying though. In terms of, I do feel that way. Like. With the group of friends I told you about a while ago that I had for a long time.
I remember
if I didn't call them or keep in contact, it would be like they didn't talk to me.
They
So
knew
I
you
just
existed.
these are dudes that I thought like we would be friends with till I died. And I only talk to one of them now. So like I just cut the other people off because it was like once I moved out here, it was like I just became someone that they didn't talk to. So I was like, okay. And I kept like I would send them message. That would be the only time I would talk with them. If I didn't initiate it, then it didn't happen. So yes. So I just basically said, fuck you. And
it wasn't just, yeah. And in your case, that wasn't just a one-time thing with that set of people. That's happened, I imagine, multiple different times with different people, women and men.
Well, me personally, no, that was the first time it's ever. I don't really. I'm just being honest. Like, it's not for funniness or anything. I really don't have many friends in real life. I'm a very like,
no, but I would imagine
the way that I am here is exactly how I am everywhere.
No, but I was saying like,
but MSK.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're talking about like through some sort of app or something, right?
Oh my Lord, yes, Gray. Where else would I meet this person?
Christian Mingle.
Well, I mean, there's real life. There is at church, sir. What I'm saying is, you got to realize that, like, you know, they are a wanted quantity on there, and there are multiple people messaging them.
No.
If you're not giving like a bit of, what would you call that, effort in there, you will fall by the wayside. Somebody else will pick up that slack.
Someone I know in real life that lives where I live. Not exactly the same neighborhood, obviously.
Wait, do they live behind that door?
No.
Oh.
Do they work at your Little Caesars?
No, this person seen me. This person never interacted with me because, I don't know, the person was too intimidated. She said I look too beautiful. You know, that's a lie, right? But
pretty sure she didn't say that.
I don't know. Like,
that was never said.
Okay, I might have. She did say I was attractive. I'll say that. But when people say I'm overthinking these things, it's not that I'm trying to overthink it. I'm trying to play it from a level-headed point of view. I've always looked at life this way. My mom's not alive, but
from your level-headed point of view.
When my mom was alive, she would always say certain things that felt like it came from God or something. She said, now this live by this too. If someone wants to interact with you, they will. They'll go out of their way to interact with you because they, God forbid, they want to be around you. And I get certain things in life happen to make sure that doesn't happen. I understand people have their lives. Like if Laps wasn't on a few weeks ago, it's because his back was hurting. Well, of course, he doesn't want to be here. It's just fucking shit happens. I understand shit happens. But if I'm supposed to always be the person initiating everything out of you, why am I doing this? Because I understand in relationships, one person is always going to be doing more than the other person. It's just how it works. One person is going to love and care more than the other person. I fully get those things, but I don't want to always keep doing that. I got a point to my life where I was like, I just want to just not do that. Like sometimes I'll be the person that's driving everything, like I did with this. You know,
dude, when you stop looking and stop trying so hard, that's usually when things start working out.
But I'm just saying, put in zero effort. It can't be like, well, obviously this person should know to talk to me. Okay, well, they're not talking to me, so
I
okay,
put
fuck them.
Effort, man. I did. I'm not even kidding.
I don't know about that. When is the last time you arranged a picnic?
That's who goes on pic? Are you in the 1950s?
Yes, when men got women.
What's wrong with picnics?
Picnics are for homosexuals.
Do you know how many times I've gotten head from
so the last
lady
time I
on
messaged
picnics?
this person, it was last Friday.
And the first time you messaged them was last Friday.
Yo, so the last message I sent was last Friday, and then they
it.
looked at it and didn't reply. But the person did say they're going on vacation, so I knew that prior. So that wasn't a new thing. So the person is on vacation, obviously, but it's like I don't know what to do with women sometimes. They say they want this and that in the men. I even asked her, I'm all of these things. Do you want this? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. It's like, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
What were the things that you described?
She wanted an alpha male, and obviously that was me. I'm not kidding.
I'll say this. I personally don't have any experience with like the dating apps or talking apps because that's not the way that it happened for me. But
why did he make that face?
Because MSK needed that message.
But I don't know. Like, I go out and talk to real people, I guess. Like,
oh god, that's scary.
I mean, it might be, but you might get a better, interaction. You might get more.
Real.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if that didn't work out the way you wanted it to, instead of like getting on an app or doing something else different, just go out and meet people. Go do something. Go to a bar. Go do. But okay. Hold on. If you're not willing to do that, stuff per se, then don't complain about the situation not working out for you.
No, I know
that's
it's
what I'm
not
saying.
that. No, I understand what you're saying. I agree. It's just if I can already feel these things, and I've come on, this is not just with this person. I've felt these things with many different people. It's like this is a track record I've had for a long time.
Well, man, maybe it's a problem with you.
I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong. Maybe I overthought it.
Because that happened with me.
Usually,
I had to sit there and go like, if every situation I was like in when I was like messed up on drugs and shit, I had this like everybody's against me mentality until I like really looked in the mirror and was like, okay, every situation I get in ends the same. Maybe it's a problem with me.
Are you and Laps the same person, Walter? No. I and you're right. I should mention this, but I feel like if I do, it doesn't matter because I know how.
But I do know where you're coming from. I do know what you were talking about with the initiating contact type thing. I do understand that completely.
Yeah, like
then you at least got them informed, and they actually understand. They can't just read your mind. It's very chick-like behavior to just assume that, hey, they should know what I'm thinking, and the fact that they don't means that I shouldn't tell them.
Yeah. But I would just assume if someone cared enough to talk to you, they would make an effort. Not every day. I'm not saying I need to talk every day.
You know the problem with assuming is it makes an ass out of you and me, sir. But I know you don't understand how to spell the word, but if you could see it broken down, that would have made sense. Now, look, dude, if there's one thing that I've noticed from my experience with women is they appreciate effort. I understand, like it's painstaking and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but man, if they see you putting some effort in, that goes a long way.
Like, dude, I haven't had to make food in like 20 years.
Yeah, that's why you get a wife to do that. That's a
well, why do you think that happened though?
Well,
because those first years I definitely put in a lot of effort.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I'm not. I actually understand all your points, and I think the same way too. It's just, I don't know. I thought about bringing that up, but then I also thought to myself, even if I do this and it goes back to the same shit, I just wasted my time. I really just hate wasting my time and effort on something that
you just might have to change your mentality about how you feel about those type of situations. Possibly,
probably,
if that's what you're looking for, if it is truly what you are looking for.
Well,
so. I mean,
I'm glad this person is real and not a figment of my imagination in my thoughts, like Walter said.
So you made up the person that ignored you.
I wish I did. I literally wish I did.
That's hilarious. Like your thoughts couldn't even make something work for you.
I love how I immediately just start saying this stuff and you guys, this person's fake. He doesn't exist. Like, all right, okay.
One of those AI girlfriends on the apps you hear about.
Too much damage control. Take it one step at a time.
He got ghosted by his AI girlfriend.
I wish that would be.
What's that movie with Joaquin Phoenix where he falls in love with his phone?
Oh, that's Her.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that movie. That movie's so good.
Like this person literally even said, "Hey, we should leave this place together." And it's like,
okay, that's a sign right there to get the hell out. You haven't even been on a date, and they're already talking about we should leave this place together.
Yeah,
she probably the reason why she hasn't answered the phone is because she's probably like fucking on the moon ship to the Mother Queen.
Wait. One more question. Were they working security at a place when they're like, "Sir, we should leave this place right now"?
Or did she didn't say that when she was in your house?
No. So
if she hands you a pamphlet or mails you a pamphlet afterwards, dude, you know this isn't a good situation.
She sees your bed made of shelves and Amazon boxes and it's like, we should leave this place
right now together.
She was talking to his cat.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this person at the gym. So I was at the gym one time and she said she's seen me. So I know this person in real life. I'm pretty sure I do.
So wait. If you know this person in real life, shouldn't you be sure that you saw them at the gym?
I was.
You caught that too?
I know I did. I've seen.
Listen, I know their schedule, and I.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I've watched her for 3 months now, but she hasn't quite seen me yet. But I can promise you, she's real.
The only thing that I also can add to it is like I even told her, hey, I even said it. I was up front, like you guys said, and I even said, hey, do you want to meet in real life so we can see if we have some chemistry? Literally, just that. Do you want to hang out in real life? And
when she saw that she lives with this older brother and a really, really younger brother, it's really weird. age difference.
Yeah, because every time I bring up, I
Very
only brought it
odd.
up. I only brought it up a few times. I said, "Hey, do you want to just go out? Not a date, just like let's hang out." No answer. Just basically, I'll move on to the next thing we're gonna talk about.
Well,
It's
then
like,
take it and go. You want to be making fuck berserker. Did that guy just say making fuck?
No, I'm just gonna leave it
Berserker.
alone. I'll be honest here. If this person cares to message me, fine. If not, I don't care. Honestly, it really doesn't matter to me. I have plenty of women, honestly, that I can go and pick from. I don't. That's just me coping out of my ass.
I believe you on that one. I believe you have many
That,
women
everything you believe
on
is that one.
well on the shelves that you can pick from. I believe all of it.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I can just pick women out of the tree.
You got different fleshlights attacked to all of them.
I can just go to the apple tree outside my house. That's not crack house or a crack tree, and just pick out the apples, right? So
Dude, if you had a crack tree, bro, you'd be rich. You'd be super rich, dude.
It's crazy. But we're gonna wrap it up here. I do have to get some stuff done. I have to head out. So I'm gonna start with Lunchbox Warren. What
You going
are
to the
you
gym?
gonna be? No, I actually lost my key. I have to go and get my replacement key. I think I can go get my replacement key tomorrow. No, I'm getting off too late. I'll have to get my replacement on Friday then. Fucking hell. But yeah, I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot to get my gym replacement key because I lost because
Your
dropped
key to the gym.
Yeah, they don't. Back in the day, people would just walk in and start working out for free. So they have keys now, so you have to scan it to get in. Our town, the city is pretty ghetto.
Okay, key
Wait, you have to
card. That
scan
makes a little bit
key?
more sense.
Yeah, because people would break in. People would like let their
So
friends.
like you have a key, like you put in a lock, and
That's a magnetic
instead of unlocking it, you hold up the key, and someone
Yeah, it's
goes,
a magnetic
"He
key."
has the key. He is allowed
Yeah.
in."
No, so like you know how we talk about streaming services and password sharing. So like let's say I had a key to the gym, I could essentially scan it and let 3 people in and work out. So
Yes, that's how doors work.
yes. So what is a crack
Is that
tree?
your trick with the sauna?
No, I have to make this
Crack
girl's-
cheese, a tree with a bunch of crack on it.
Hey, I make this girl's vagina Moana. So
What?
As
We're
in,
gonna end up
she's
streaming
sailing
for
away
another
from you?
hour.
Yeah, a little island girl that sailed around with her chicken.
Oh
well,
God.
congrats that Jim gave you a key. That's
His name
right,
is
Walter.
Felipe.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
a huge
he
step.
said Jim gave you a key. This
His
must be
name-
really serious.
His name is Felipe. It's Felipe. He's a short Mexican that works at Home Depot. I'm joking.
That's the comment of the night. That
That's
wins.
the best one right there.
He just won the internet tonight.
You guys are crazy.
Oh,
I tell you guys stuff and you're like, this never happened. You're a fucking
Jim
weirdo.
gave you a key.
Walter,
This
you
must be
deserve the
serious.
IMDb credit for this episode, for
You
sure.
sure do. My
comment
goodness.
of the year.
I hate.
Jim.
I can't do it tonight. Probably the funniest show we've had in a very long time. It's like one of the best episodes we ever did. Holy fuck! You've been watching this
You're
show
right.
forever.
Lapsed and Warren really did carry their weight here.
Oh, just to let you guys know, tomorrow there's no Cloud9 podcast. I'm getting off too late. I'll just play League tomorrow when I come back home and take a shower after work because basically I'm getting off at like 7, getting home at like 8, and then I have to get up at like 6 in the morning, go back to work at 8 a.m. So I'm gonna have a pretty tight end by the end of tomorrow's, but it's okay.
He's getting off too late tomorrow, so he's just going to play with
Getting up
himself.
at 6, and you're like, "Oh, that's so early."
I
For
hate
one
all of
day
you.
of my life, I have to get up
hate
at
all of you.
6.
I have to get up at yeah, you're right. Fuck my pussy. So
Huh?
in Minecraft. So Lunchbox Warren, where can
Yes.
oh fucking hell, you guys are just what a random crazy show tonight. I can't pronounce words. Grace Gambit, Warren's still
I
black.
dropped issue 3 of my comic book on Global Comics today.
Hell
So
yeah.
if anyone
Nice.
reads digital comics, go to the Global Comics app. You can find The Adventures of Sig and Joe. Issue 3 is dropped today, and I'm already at 66 views. And it dropped at noon, so I'm very happy about
Wait,
that.
is it?
So.
Are they free, or you have to pay?
You got to pay. You got to pay for the app to get access to the. whole
What about
comic.
like? Is it coming out in like a paper, like a comic book form?
When issue 4 gets done, I'm going to make a graphic novel of all for the first 4 issues.
Well, whatever
and I'll
I
have
can
that for
do,
sale.
point me in any direction that I can support you with monetarily.
I'll get you. When I get that graphic novel, which should be
I'll still do the app thing too if you make money off of it. Do you?
I make money off the views. Yeah, it's not very much at all, but I mean, I don't
care. I'll view it every day.
Yeah, Global Comics also has DC Comics on there, anyway. Dark Horse, Image, and also a shit ton of indies. So it's a really good app if you like reading comics on your phone or on computers.
So it's basically like when Marvel and DC have their own digital app. This is one that's just like for all of them, essentially.
Yeah, like only one that's not on there is Marvel, and there's like millions of indie ones too. So like you could read all. It's a massive comic book app, and it's only like $7 a month for access to all of it.
Lunchbox Warren, what are you going to be doing this? Do you have anything coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Episode 7 of my draw stream will be this Sunday.
And
catch me. Well, I prefer quality over quantity. So
okay. Damn, trash talking. I see everyone can trash talk here. You can get on.
Yeah, catch me on my draw stream on my YouTube on Sunday, and catch me on here Friday, where we are going to interview some dudes. Apparently,
white dudes.
Awesome.
Yep, we're going to be a double stuffed Oreo. We're going to have lots of sex. So, Grey Poupée, what are you going to be doing that you want to let the audience know about?
Yeah. So my contract is not up here, so I will be on the next few, as long as I don't have a dentist appointment at night or something like that. But still, you can catch me here in the future. But if you just can't get enough of me, tomorrow happens to be 7/10. It's a holiday for some, but for others, it's a day to go ahead and argue with each other. And that's just what we do over at Thinkers. So if you want to hear an international opinion on some of these issues, like, say, the Epstein non-list and everything that's going on there, we have some international opinions and everyone disagrees. And then I think the other thing that we're talking about is Destiny's joke about the Texas situation. A lot of people are saying too soon. So if you want to hear an international opinion about that, you want to hear a bunch of people just argue, go over to YouTube at That Darn Kidda for the Thinkers every Thursday night. That's about all I got going on. What about you, Lapsed? What do you have going on, sir?
I'm going to record with my buddy John tomorrow. We're going to go see Superman. So we'll do something before we see it, which is what we do. We kind of just talk about what we what we want to see in the movie. And then right as soon as we're done, we record in his car and just talk about the movie. Like, we'll just talk about everything and if we liked it or if we didn't. And then this weekend, I will be finishing up a couple of videos that I'm doing. And now that I can make videos again, now that I'm able to, I am going to be doing a fighting fandom one on Ironheart, and that will happen. But those take time because I edit those myself.
Yeah.
And then next week, I will be taking the kid camping.
What days are you going to be leaving?
It'll be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, it's cool. Hell yeah. You're going to be outside touching grass?
I mean, I do fish a lot, dude.
MSK, you ever touched a fish?
Have you ever tried going outside?
You ever gutted a fish?
Gray, do I pay you enough money to be here?
What?
Sadly, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might go to a strip club this weekend. I don't know.
I don't believe you.
Oh, really? Danglers is open?
Danglers.
Viva Las Vegas.
No. Pride Month is over.
Danglers.
Oh, Danglers.
I like vagina. I like vaginas. I know how to make girls have orgasms.
You don't know where slits is.
What slits?
You have straight line to Danglers. I'm using that now.
Danglers, and they just all like MSK.
Yeah, it's like Norm. Cheers.
Your usual table, sir.
MSK knew none of those references.
I'm done with you guys. You guys I paid you so much money. You're on triple overtime now for me on my studio. I'm a producer. Your rates are going up, and I have to, let you guys go off early. So for me, as you guys know, tomorrow, No Cloud 9 podcast. I'll just be streaming League later tomorrow night when I get home and I take a shower and basically settle in, just get up and go to work morning the next day. Fucking bullshit. After that, Friday, the show me and Lunsworth Warren have on Friday is going to be at 7 p.m. PST. We have 2 featured guests Friday. Saturday, we're going to do a watch party on Rumble and X for the MSI 2025 finals. Hopefully all my pick'ems pan out so I can be perfect. I can predict the entire tournament. I'm so close I can almost taste it, like having sex with my wife and licking her vagina. So after that, we'll have a Cloud9 podcast episode on Saturday, potentially after the watch party. I'm hoping to have one. And Sunday, 8 p.m. PST, we're going to have the show that me and Savage Dad usually do. That's returning. Ours is going to be predominantly on Sundays because I normally wouldn't have an MSK show episode on Sunday because the Cloud9 podcast has moved from that day anyway, because the Cloud9 podcast is supposed to be when the season's going, Tuesdays with Warren for the LEC mostly, then Thursdays with Chaz, and then Saturday we do a show talking about the Saturday games. But the season's not going now. It's just internationals right now. So, yeah, it's good to be black. No, it's good to be back, right? It's actually so good to be white because I don't want to identify as a black person at all because black people are garbage. So, I'll be watching Superman.
You just said so many horrible things in less than 5 seconds.
I don't want to be with them Section 8
awful stuff.
I don't want watermelon eating Section 8 warrior chicken.
Hey, watermelon is awesome. It is the best artificial fruit flavor. You were wrong, sir.
And you're a bad comment.
Fried
generator.
chicken is freaking amazing. What do you?
Hey, you want to be a Section 8 warrior? Go ahead, guys. Be my guest. So,
dude, I've been a food stamp champ before. So,
you SNAP benefit? No. So, you guys are awesome.
At.
Goldfish? No. Okay, wrong
what?
joke. Snapback smiles back.
Man, get out of here and get the danglers.
Get the danglers. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go be with the Rizzlers. So Monday we're gonna have a open spoiler discussion for the MSK for the James Gunn Superman movie. An episode of Full Day of Going to the Movie Theater for Jurassic World Rebirth is gonna be up very, very soon as well. And I'm good to be white and back. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I'm playing League. And I know none of you guys will be watching that. So I'll just see you back here Friday.